Welcome back to In the Shadow of Fire. This is session number 10, entitled Lines Being Drawn. Last session was an aftermath session. They had dealt with some unpleasantries and are recuperating. Several bodies were laid to rest. The day went by pretty eventfully in that um, there's a lot of thought as to what the next steps for the town are and what will be happening next. And some new additions. Some new people have entered into the town. Some new things have graced the group. Some definitely interesting changes, especially of the capabilities of the group and their travel ability. That said, yeah, last session we had a pretty simple day of it, and at the end of the day, you all kind of went and retreated back to your rest areas therein, and would have had time to basically rest and be ready for the next day. Um, does anybody want to be the first one up?
So Cyril will get up early, and he's busy copying spells into a spell book.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else of note that you want to do? Investigate, check?
No,
Okay.
I don't know what to do at this point.
Anyone else? Looks
I
like
mean,
Tim's raising his hand instead of just talking.
right?
No. Anyway, habit. Not in this game. So yeah, Eulair, when he gets up, probably, there's probably some cleanup to do in the aftermath of the wake. It was kind of like once it ended, people left. It was kind of like, put off to tomorrow. And so while he's cleaning, he asks, Fenfir if he could go see if he could track down, names of people. Alvin, to see if he could coordinate a meeting.
Okay.
Tim, you have that new greatsword, yeah?
And you told me how to turn it into a.
Yes. So I speak Dwarvish, and I told you the Dwarvish word to command word plus the Dwarvish word for weapon types. You can turn it into multiple different types of weapons. So I might have told you 2 or 3 different or 4 different words to turn it into, a great sword or a dagger or whatever else.
Okay. Cool.
Kevin, you look like you're talking, but I want to make sure. Can you hear us?
So I typed to Kevin, and it does not seem as though he can hear us.
Yes, it does not appear that way.
Okay.
That being said, I have some things that I can do if we need filler while we're waiting for Kevin.
Oh, I mean, again, I was just passing the buck through and through. So yeah, again, whoever wants to take the opportunity, go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yes, Kevin.
Kevin, can you hear us?
I can't hear you guys.
Nope, he cannot.
It's something.
Go
with the
ahead and
settings.
get started, and I'll just, if
Yep.
I can figure this out, I'll start playing
Can
with
he
you
just
guys.
watch the Twitch stream?
No, because it's delayed.
I mean, it'll be on it'll be on an 11-second delay.
Well, at least he'll be on the International Space Station instead of, in Oblivion.
Well, he'll technically be outside of it, but at least he'll have a spacesuit.
Matt, you were saying something?
Yeah. So, I was going to get up and go over to Cyril's tower and check in with him to see if he ever got around to taking a look through that letter so that I can pass that on, and then I was planning on actually heading down to the barracks from there to pass that through.
Almost as if they were stalking you. 10 knights find you before you leave, and they start following you and to lead you, or kind of some of them in front of you, some of them behind you, some of them beside you, walking with you past the arches to the Tower of Lore.
All right. Can I tell them to wait outside?
One of them states, "At least one of us should go in with you, milady."
Very well.
The 9 remain. The one of the group steps forward and goes with you.
All right, so I'm going to make my way to where I assume Cyril is, or at least someone that will know where he is.
Well, there's a page there that will help you. I'm sure that Alberic
Mm-hmm.
will be there to greet you.
Take you up to the study.
Hmm.
Inside the study, you would see that Cyril is just kind of finishing quill mark on his book, kind of looks up at you, and you can see on the back end of the room that he's in, there's a armor stand with the helmed horror still sitting upon it.
Matt, did Cyril tell Alcantara the specifics about what he learned about the armor?
I sort of cut you off because we were going to be bombarded by this captain and his guards. So,
Okay. So great, we'll
The
do that
guard
too. Go
stays
ahead.
outside of the study, by the way.
all right, cool. But yeah, Alcantara would just sort of inquire as to what else you've discovered about the armor, since she knows she sort of cut you short.
Yeah, so Cyril would say that he spent some time studying it, and he found out several things. He found out that it is something called the helmed horror, and that it has very specific orders. These kinds of devices are created with specific goals in mind. This one was to kill you.
Yes, and to dispose of anyone in the way. I know
That's
that.
right, right.
His thoughts.
Yes, exactly.
Which that part you didn't know, I'd like to point out.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Great. So that's impressive then. So you have your own methods of investigation, lady.
Well, can't be caught off guard.
Indeed.
Did you find anything else about it?
I did not, and so it raises the question, what exactly is going on the Dwarven Isle that they're all of a sudden so intent on getting to you?
Indeed, it is a bit of a question. Go ahead.
Could it coincide with what we've learned about the War Queen? We now seem to be taking a war stance.
It could. It could simply be that they are trying to, as it were, weaken the gate so that it is easier for them to break in when they come. Not saying I'm necessarily important in and of myself, but perhaps throwing this position into chaos would suit them.
Perhaps, yes.
Were you able to take a look at that letter that I gave you?
Yes, absolutely. So, and then Matt, I'm going to ask you out of character just to remind me what the letter said.
Yeah, that was basically the one where I was saying, because of the recent disaster with the Sliver Isle and, probably them being in disarray, if they wanted, informing them basically what we found out there, and then also asking if, for the time being, until things could be restored, it should fall under our jurisdiction, basically. AKA, I'm trying to expand our town again. So
Yeah, if we're willing to put forth the troops to hold it as well.
Yes, well, we'll have to see necessarily what they say. For the time being, what we might have to do is just anyone who is left, bring them in. And then once things settle, invest in the area, but we'll have to see.
Yes. You might consider giving this plate armor, the suit, to someone who can make good use of it. I've discovered that it has resistance to psychic damage.
Do we know of anyone who would be able to use that?
So I would assume one of the guards, or I don't know. I mean, do the monster hunters use armor?
If you turned it into medium armor, I'm not sure we can do that, Tim. Thanks for the tip, though.
So yeah, only the greatsword is able to be changed, to my knowledge. The full plate is full plate.
Well, I'm sure that we'll figure out some use for it. Perhaps our Twilight Guard captain can make some use of it. I don't know, though. Or if anything else, it can make it a lovely decoration in the keep.
So apparently, I don't really know much about armor, so I'm just being corrected in the chat, which is awesome. Thank you.
But it's magical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No.
actually agree with what Zach is saying, that we should give it to Halo. Makes the most amount of sense in my mind.
Halo could wear armor.
Sure.
I want to see that
I
shirt
like to
drop
see
on the
that.
armor.
All right.
Oh man.
So you intend to send this letter right away?
Well, I figure that this is an issue which should be taken care of sooner rather than later.
Through the circle?
That's the intent.
Mhm.
Do you have something else that needs to go through?
I do not. Will you have one of your couriers do it, or send someone else?
Oh, I expect that I'll probably send one of the couriers through. Also, out of curiosity, and I lower my voice at this part, in terms of these 10 Twilight Guards who are following me around, I'm not necessarily sure I feel like having all of them swarming me all the time. I feel like that might cause panic. Would it be a problem if I leave some of them here to guard your tower?
I would absolutely have that protection.
Good.
And as a cantrip, I would cast message and just sort of say, and we could Alcantara hears, and there are other ways that we could have more private conversations.
Indeed. She does that through the reply function,
Mhm.
and then says, well, I am off to the barracks to see to getting this letter off.
Okay.
Good day, lady.
Halo. Yesterday was a mess, but everything seems to be fine at the Temple of the Bright Star. How are you starting your day off today?
Muted? Oh, damn, I'm muted. Okay. Sorry. Thank you. I would probably check in on the grounds, because it's been a few days that I haven't been here, and I know Flaxius is out doing his little settlement search thing, so want to make sure things are still going well there, do the normal routine of things.
As you're inspecting in the early portion of the morning, you will note that there does appear to be a lone figure traveling from the south of the town, kind of moving up the way towards the grounds. It's very noticeably Blaxius. Looks like he's got his travel bindle and is making his way back here without the rest of the people that went with him.
I will approach him with a big smile on my face.
Hey, I gotta report back to the keep. He looks really tired.
Of course.
There's monsters there.
Oh.
Yeah.
How does he look hurt?
No, he just looks like he's tired. They're pretty well kept in their lair. I told the boys to stay outside of that. And the ladies too, and all the other folk. I just have to tell Lady Alcantara, the person in charge of the mayor's entourage said that I needed to tell them that it sounded like he was trying to muster a plan to try and deal with the creatures inside of the... Just kind of yawns, starts rubbing the sleep out of his eyes. Points to the bridge.
If I may, and I like hold out a hand to him.
Yes, yes. He places his hands in his.
I'm gonna hit him with that, and instead of calm, I'm gonna give him a little excite. So he's now just like a little energized and a little excited. So he's got enough energy to like make it all the way to the keep with me.
With a pep in his step.
He's also got some temporary hit points, but
okay,
whatever.
With a bit of pep in his step, he will travel with you to the keep. Meanwhile, let's see. I've got Alcantara, I've got Cyril, I've got Ulaire start off. I've got someone dipping out. I was prepared. But yeah. Dan, Alvin, you awake in the morning. You basically left Flitz to the ship, told him not to sail it out or fly it off, unless it was necessary. And he kind of did a, sad face. But he understood. What would you like to do this morning?
I would just kind of do my new ritual with like the salve. I would start drinking it. Kind of have like a quiet morning at first, and then something I've kind of neglected as of late with all the excitement is kind of getting inventory of what's going on in the port. I really have no idea. I'd like to kind of get an idea who's been in the port,
Sure.
trades that have come and gone, anything out of the norm, any signs of Alterian people that are sympathizers, or maybe anybody that...
Currently, you have a total of 5 craft inside of the port. One is a massive trade galleon out of... oh my god, my brain's not working. Out of the Akaskari wildlands. It has traveled along the northern coast of the Adamant to this point. It's only stopping here because it was... according to the notes, turned away at Split Rock, which would be an Adamant Isle settlement and port. Then you have 2 just kind of trade craft. They are out of the Mastiff Peninsula, specifically out of Renarius. They are heading to the Free United Coastal Kingdoms to do trade with the Kingdom of Korash. Let's see. You have a pretty decent sized craft that doesn't seem to have a known origin. Its statements do appear to be in order. It does look like the Emperor of Alteria sanctioned their travel, but according to everything that you have here, the ship's origin is unknown. When you kind of grumpily look at that as like a concerned statement and look out to it, you'll see that the ship sails out in the area. One of them appears to have a very different style of sail, which you would recognize as a western sail, coming from beyond the destructive waves of the seas and oceans between the Dragon Isles and the mainland, the continent of ENA. So the ship looks like it's very well traveled, very well weathered, but its sails are definitely of a very different styling indeed. And then there's just a small skimmer that appears to be from south, Osnobble.
Okay. How uncommon is it for me to have? I mean, I guess not that uncommon to have ships sail from the west, ones that
No,
look of a
real
particular
uncommon.
type. Is it? Well, I'm gonna investigate that one today. Maybe get some information, talk to some people at the port, see if they have a ledger for the ship or anything that they've brought to our settlement.
Make a history check.
Sure.
What'd you get?
20.
So what you would know is that Alteria was the first human nation to enter into the Dragon Isles, and it came from a nation called Alteria on the mainland, on the continent of Ena, to the very far east. I meant east, not west. Sorry. And that was hundreds of years ago, quite a long time ago. No ships have passed through the ocean in between for some time since. As you're looking at this ledger, you can see that it's the writ of its passage isn't signed by the current empress of Old Alteria, which is to the west. It's actually written out from the Eastern Empire of Alteria, the true emperor of the great nation of Alteria. And it seems that as you kind of inspect it, it doesn't tell you where it came from precisely, but it tells you its destination. It is headed for Old Alteria.
Well, definitely catches my attention. I would maybe like to.
It's been in dock for 4 days, by the way.
No shit.
Yeah. I've genuinely been waiting for you to go.
There's too much. There's too many exciting things going on.
Yeah,
Well,
the very first time you sat down, well, maybe 3 days, but it's the very first time you sat down with this character. The first question you asked was like, "Okay, well, you asked that question. I'm gonna go ahead and put something in there for you." You said, "What's going on in my docks?" And then you haven't asked about it since. And I've just been, oh man.
And this is how Dane's character gets killed as a traitor.
as a traitor.
I'm kidding.
No, this settlement's good for me. Plus, I have history here. I was born here. Yeah, so I'll start. I don't know, going through. Maybe I'll go in and meet the ship captain. That seems safe. And relatively, I would think.
Okay. If you head over to that craft, that's cool. I'll get back to you here in a bit. Okay, Larry, you start making your way to the tower. Meanwhile, in the tower, I believe you were splintering off and heading in a different direction, Cyril and Lady Alcantara. Is that right? One of you was leaving, at least?
I was leaving to go to...
How many of your guard do you request to stay here?
I was just going to leave, I was just going to leave 2 here for the time being, and we can revisit if I send more.
Okay. The other
But-
8 will accompany you. You head back to the keep, or you said you were going to the barracks, right?
I was going to the barracks, yeah, because that's where the teleportation circle is.
Okay. It's also where the captain would be. The new captain, and also
Right.
the old captain. Okay, great. Get to you then in a second.
The old captain's dead, I thought.
No. The
Yeah.
old guy who is a captain.
Yeah, I know. I'm just giving you a hard time, John.
No worries. And Kevin, are you still broken? Saw him pop in. Just checking. Sounds like he's broken. Okay.
Yeah, I
No worries. Well, Larry, you make it to the tower.
Yeah, so I'm probably still going around with my walking stick, maybe slightly better than yesterday, but trying to, I don't know, in my head, relieve as much burden and stress on the wounds upon my chest and arms. And so I just kind of get there and do I normally just head on in? Like there, it doesn't seem like there's a protocol, right? I would just head in, or would I?
I mean, the Tower of Lore is pretty open, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
Andy, is that right?
I mean, there would probably be someone there, like the page would greet you.
All right. Morning. Is Cyril upstairs?
No. Albrecht seems like he's invested in a book he's reading. And he just kind of, yeah.
I'll see myself up then. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I head upstairs to go see my boy Cyril.
Yeah, pretty much in the same state of it, except that this time there are 2 guardsmen who are sitting in the room with you. 2 of the Twilight Knights.
I see you made some new friends, Cyril.
Yeah, it's good to have these big friends. How are you doing?
You know, I've seen better days. But wounds will heal eventually. Those of the body and those of the heart.
Yes, it was a fierce battle and you lost some good people.
Yeah, and then, you know, Our Lady lost some more, but...
That's right. So I was thinking about... Go ahead. I was thinking about you, and it's a fortuitous that you came to visit. And then he goes to the corner and pulls out the big great sword. So we could do it in character, right? So I can give you this. And so he goes over to the armor and the sword and said, "This was the sword that on the creature that attacked Our Lady. I think we could use it for our defense. I think it would lift your spirits if you made use of it with your sword arm."
Well, I don't see myself lifting something that big, especially now.
Ah, well, that's where this is interesting, Cyril says. And then he says a command word in Dwarvish, and then the word for dagger. I would know what the word for dagger is? Do you know what that word is?
No, but you can make it up if you want. Just so long as it's not something horrible.
It's dagger.
Dagger.
Dagrin. Anyway, I say that word and the command word, and I hold the sword in my hand, and it then turns into a dagger. A pretty fine-looking one.
Isn't that convenient?
What is it made of, John?
Oh, it's just made out of normal metal.
Okay. It glints in the light. You don't see magical auras, right? That's something that's not visible to the eye?
No, you can kind of loosely detect something's magical as a wizard, but yeah.
But it's not visible. Okay. Yeah. This is a special weapon. You can make it turn into several different things. And then he says another word, and it turns into a rapier. And another word, it turns into a battle axe. And then the word that turns it back to a dagger. It cuts deep as well. So, and then he hands it over to Alair.
The second you hand it over, the sword changes back into a greatsword.
So then I spend a few minutes teaching you the words, the command word and the word for dagger. And then just the other words as well. Actually, he would copy them down phonetically for Alair and fold it up on a piece of paper. Put this in your pocket in case you need to use it later.
And so, as a magical note, just so you don't get any crazy ideas of throwing knives and then becoming great swords as they fly through the air and killing people, what you realize is happening here, Wizard, is that you're relinquishing your attunement to it, because you have to attune to it to be able to play the game of changing its name. So you're relinquishing that attunement, and the second you relinquish that, he's basically manifests with what it normally is.
So you're saying it's possible, but you're no longer attuned after.
No.
But you can only do it once.
So you can't relinquish it as a free action. So
Okay.
no.
It's an action. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's more than an action. It's basically just it's something that's for narrative purposes being done this way, but in
cool.
a fight won't.
All right. So and I would try to find the best way to carry it back, to spend the time to kind of go over it, study it, go over the words later so that it's as little strain as possible
Okay.
on my torso. Thank you, friend. I'll see what good work I can put this to. But the reason I come is after the events of yesterday, I just thought that now that there's a lull in the action, as one might say, if you might have heard anything back about the your friends from over in the capital, and if they might have heard anything about my memento, my keepsake.
So I could just make this up, John. I mean, would I have heard back, or
Whatever you want to do.
okay? So it's too soon. I could reach out to them. I could send a message to see. As a matter of fact, Lady Alcantara is planning on sending something to the capital, so I could send a message along with to inquire further.
I'd be very grateful, friend, if you could do so. I'd be interesting to see if they've able to find any threads I might pull on to learn about my past. And I mean, I don't mean this as any kind of insult, but just for your troubles, as a token of appreciation. And I just kind of hand you a small pouch that has we'll say 20 silver in it.
That's not necessary, my friend.
I just hand it to you and walk out.
Okay. Well, may this blade lighten your heart.
It will once I get the hang of the magic words. Right now it's a bit of a bear.
Meanwhile, Lady Alcantara, you return back to your abode, your keep, and on your way in, your front attendant, your scribe, states to you, "There
Wait,
are
is this after I dropped everything off,
no
or when?
on the way in. You have guests in the main hall."
Well, no, I meant. Is this after I sent the letter through the circle?
Yeah, it would be after that. So,
Okay.
Was there anything else at the barracks that you wanted to do? I didn't think there would have been.
No, not really. I mostly wanted to send that through.
Cool. So the letter would have been sent through, and then you would have headed back, and your scribe would basically just inform you that there are people waiting for you in the main chamber.
Who exactly?
Halo and his groundskeeper.
All right, and
I believe the groundskeeper was the leader of the detachment sent to the town to the south for its possible use as a retreat for our people.
Good. I shall see to them at once.
Okay. You enter into the throne room, Halo, and why is my brain not working? It starts with an F. I know it does.
Flaxius.
Flaxius.
Why is Halo sitting in my seat? Is this a coup?
They're waiting for you. And go ahead.
My lady, it's been a few days.
Well, I imagine that you've been busy with things at your temple. I know that it can get crazy and chaotic at times.
Aye, and so can your travels. Are you faring okay this today?
Faring well enough. Still a little frazzled, but well enough.
And I see you've got a new retinue. And I just refer to the guards that are with you.
Yes.
Well,
They don't
enough
acknowledge.
pleasantries, and I
they
just
were addressed.
gestured Flaxius. It's all right then, enough with the awkward talk, if you will.
Milady, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm a bit out of sorts. I rushed here as quickly as I could. The survey team.
Do you wish for any refreshments? You seem, since you're out of sorts.
Oh,
eat, drink?
No. Let me get the words out before I forget them. Um, the survey team was. There's a lot of good land and a lot of still operable buildings. It does appear that some dwarvish settlements that were utilized by our rival town still hold strong there. That is also the problem. The survey team noted that one of the larger buildings, possibly a former keep, not too dissimilar from this building, it's currently the lair of monsters. We've maintained our distance outside of that area. I was instructed by the leader of the mayor's survey group to come and tell you. And now that I have, I will kindly take a cup of coffee if you have any.
Of course, and
Nexie
I'm
goes.
assuming there's someone around that I can.
Nexie goes. She's already on it.
Yeah. Did you happen to know what kind of monsters they are, or?
No, I didn't see them. I wasn't told much. But according to the I'm sorry, my lady. According to the leader of this mayor survey team, they are what was that word? He says something in giant. Orbita. Does anybody speak giant of the two of you?
Give me 1 second. I actually have comprehend languages, so I'm going to just cast that.
Okay.
I'm not going to ritual cast. I'm just straight up casting it, so using a slot, and I'm just going to ask him to. Could you repeat that?
Orbita. And when he says that, you hear Orbita, but Lady Alcantra hears. Sorry. Oh my God.
It's fine, John. Don't worry.
Right. Oh my God. I was hoping that you totally caught me off guard. He says dragon spawn.
Dragon spawn.
Yeah.
Well,
And he goes,
hopefully.
yeah, that's the word. And you kind of get the confusion too with comprehend languages. The word that he said, it translates weird at first, and then you get the gist. It's serpent son in giant. More directly, but you get the connotation.
Well, hopefully our good Master Ulair will have people who are competent enough to take care of this issue. I imagine as this falls into his domain.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nancy comes out and hands him a cup, and he kind of... Oh. Do you want me to return back to the team, or...
I don't know if you need to go back immediately, or if Halo has any other needs for you, so I will leave that up to his discretion for the time. If need be, I can always just send a scout to return.
Okay. Finishes the cup, hands it back to Naxi, and she kind of shrugs and wanders off with it.
Well, I would also, before she shrugs and wanders off with it, tell her to just basically send someone to... Well, I'm assuming the scribe is in the room with me. What's his name?
They probably stayed at the front, but if you wanted them, Naxi can go get them.
Yeah, I just want to grab him and then basically write up a quick note to Ulair, basically saying what Flaxus, that was his name, right?
Flaxius.
What he said, basically just like have him write it down and send someone off with a note to Ulair, basically explaining the situation.
Okay. Naxi will take the letter after it's drafted. It's pretty quick. The scribe has a very fast hand, very deft hand, and Naxi nods and heads out. Plaxius looks at Halo and says, I'm going to head back to the temple.
Get rest. I'll check in with you later.
There's work to be done. And you see him kind of just drowsily kind of wander back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Check in with your wife.
You got it. Alright. Leaving you two.
Sometimes that man. As he walks out. So, is there anything I should know before I leave you, milady?
Oh, he's digging for information. What information is he digging for, though?
I'm not digging for any information. I'm giving you an opportunity to be open and honest with the open and honest character before he leaves and finds out another way.
Uh-oh, he's digging for information. Whatsoever.
Tell me what you want, or I can leave.
Nothing much, just being attacked. And now having these guards here. Speaking of which, do you think potentially if we are invaded, the temple would be a place that might be of interest to people? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more, say no more.
You go on a guard. Opens her jacket and she's just got all the Twilight knives.
To be completely honest with you, my lady, other than the people there's not much of value, and strategically it's well off the main path from the entrance to the town on both sides, both from the forest and the...
Interrupting, the knight that actually went with you into Cyril's tower says, "Milady, if you are trying to unload some of us because you do not want us to travel with you, there is a reason why one of us could be of service at the temple. Remember, we can all communicate with one another instantaneously."
And as soon as he says that, Halo's face lights up. He's like, "Oh, well, you gotta be more specific, my lady. If they can do that, then I'll take at least one of them."
Nods.
If I could get notification that someone's at the gate immediately, then of course that's a value of me. Why would you ever refuse that to the temple, my lady?
Nods, says something
I wasn't trying to bury the lead, just making sure.
Nods, says something to the fourth one. The fourth one moves over to the ferry, and then he says something into a small rock he's holding in his hand. And at that same moment in Cyril's tower, you see them start talking to a rock, and everyone in unison at the same time kind of understands.
And sorry, how many of them are your? Let's step back. Your name, and I look to the guy who's now assigned to me.
My name is Lieutenant Carrix.
Oh, someone for Daniels. Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Carrix. Halo, glad to be in your stay. Now, my lady, how many of these other guards are there in this town?
Currently, there's the 8 here, and there are 2 at Cyril's, and I believe another retinue went over. They went to the Isle, right?
As you kind of turn back, and the same one says, "Milady, you have 10 of us elite Twilight Knights. We are set to guard you. There are a total of 40 remaining that are currently guarding the Nadrasi Bridge from anyone who would pass it. The captain is one who can communicate with the 10. There are a total of 11 who have the ability to speak amongst each other."
Yes, Captain Elendril.
Correct.
And
I was saying that more to Halo.
Out of character, that was John just saying correct.
Yeah.
And we're sending
Okay,
one
cool.
to Ulair, yes?
I was planning on sending one over there, and possibly sending one to the
Alvin.
ports.
Milady, a Carrick says, "If you wish, I can send this one after your attendant, if that's who they were being sent to."
Yes.
Says something to the other person quietly. Nods, leaves, speaks into the stone. Same thing happens at every place where there's a current Twilight Knight, elite Twilight Knight, and so on and so forth.
I'm also going to take some time to. This is me, just personally. Take a time to look through and see if there's any other areas that might make sense to have.
Do
at
you
least
want
one.
to like pull out a map and go over it with the two of them?
Yeah, we could. I was basically just thinking like all the important places.
Well, for communication, putting one up in the lighthouse, my lady. If they have first sight on a ship that's coming into port before anything, they could notify the rest of the guard. No?
True. Seems like a strategic point.
And perhaps just one posted up in the main guard barracks, so that way, should we need to raise the alarm, we could raise our own town guard immediately, no?
Well, I believe that the captain is there, and I look to the
Correct.
lieutenant.
The lieutenant says.
This is new information to Halo. I see. The only other place I could think would be maybe the marketplace, where there's a lot of vendors. If we needed to immediately move those people, but I suppose that the temple could get there quick enough.
Milady, Carrick says, it was asked of the captain, but it was not supposed to be broached according to his order, but the order, or statement, rather, came from higher than him. I am to ask you if you wish me to have one of our guards stay with the true lord of this town.
Well, as the true lord of this town, and you maybe a little bit pause there.
You can see that
it's-
the others are kind of looking at him like annoyed, and Carrick seems to be kind of just stone-faced with the
Yeah.
question and the atmosphere.
Halo is trying to hide a smile.
Yeah. As he is in the keep, I would hope that he would be well protected, but I suppose it could not hurt if one was sent there, but it would have to be one that is extremely, and I put like a huge amount of emphasis on that word, well trusted.
You are, of course, in command of us, and we serve at your pleasure. If you do not trust us as of yet, if you do not have a preferred individual.
Well,
Or-
as you speak your mind quite freely, I seem to prefer you. I like people who speak.
Oh, my lady, I just got him. You're gonna take him from me?
Oh,
Rude.
no, I apologize, Master Guide. I was not going to go with you.
Ah, I figured. It's too good to be true.
He is. And points to like the fourth one down. I will do as you ask.
Good.
Okay.
So then, who are you? He points to the fourth one down.
Me. I'm Station.
Station? Like where you park a train?
What's a train?
Station.
Right where? Sorry. Where you park a skyship?
Station.
Decent. Good. Halo.
I know.
Like, introduce yourself. Jesus, these people. Well then, milady. Is there anything else?
Currently, no. Will you be keeping... Oh, dang it. This is Matt just completely forgetting the name.
Flaxius.
Flaxius. Thank you. Will you be keeping Flaxius here, or...
I have
I'm just
too many,
watching-
too many of my people out at that settlement to leave them without guidance. My plan is to let him rest, as he has traveled hard the last few days, and as soon as he is rested, to get him back on the road to my people.
Good. I was wondering if I was going to need to send someone out there or not, but if you're sending...
If you would like to get someone on the road now, I imagine he's going to need at least half a day, if not till tomorrow, but so it's your call, my lady. I do wish to give him the time to fully rest. If he's traveling on the road and weary, he could make a mistake.
Yes, I completely understand that. I think that things should be fine. It seems as though people are avoiding that area, and as soon as I hear from Blair about if anyone is willing to go out and take care of this problem, I believe that will be the first person that I send.
Understood. Well, I suppose you can update me if that happens.
Of course.
Okay.
Station, shall we? And he
wanders off.
Yeah.
And then Carrick's will take your direction into the Cherry Blossom Grove where your father resides. Kevin, are you alive? We can't hear you. You're muted.
He's saying wait.
No, he muted himself. He didn't realize he... Hold on.
We can't hear you yet.
You got this, Kevin.
Fuck.
That would be great. If now he can hear us and we can't hear him.
Wow.
It's muted on the app.
Yeah, it's
on his
muted on the
phone.
app. Oh, goodness.
Technology is so confusing.
Okay. Yeah. You figure that out. I'll go to Dan. So Alvin, you gather up a couple of folks and head on over to the weird boat. Yeah, you can see it. It definitely does appear to be a bit strange. From what you can tell, it doesn't look like there are very many people on deck. The one thing you do notice about it is very strange. It also appears to have some strange things upon it. There are very awkward-looking armaments that appear to be made out of cast iron or wrought iron. They look like very massive tubes that are just on the sides of the ship. Not something you've seen before. They have red tiling on the ship. There appears to be a forehouse and an aft house. The flags that are flying from the back end of the ship and the fore of the ship appear to be red with the gold cross of Atavius emblazoned on those flags. And as I mentioned, the sails on this ship are very different than the sails on a regular craft. As you would know it, they appear to be kind of sectioned and kind of created into like a triangle shape. Very different than the sails that you're used to seeing. It doesn't appear like I said, there doesn't appear to be anybody on the deck, and the gangplank has been pulled. It doesn't look like the ship is ready to just leave. It is still tied to the port, but it doesn't appear that there's any method for you to board the ship or anyone to ask if you have permission to come aboard. Kirk and Bagger kind of look to you. Oh, that's weird, says Kirk.
Do we have anybody that maybe has a shop set up around here that maybe has had eyes on this ship for some time? Or maybe...
No shops nearby. The marketplace is a little ways away. Most of the stuff on port side is warehouses and the like. Right behind you is the main location where ships that don't have their own warehouses on dock would basically be able to rent space.
Okay. Who rents out the space?
You do.
I would want to know who has rented that space in the past few days. Maybe people that have seen the ship, comings and goings of the ship.
So the other ships have warehouses on the southern side of the port. The main massive galleon ship seems to be keeping all of its wares on boat, and the skiff that's heading to that came from Osnabel, they aren't staying here. They've basically unloaded their wares already and are planning on leaving in a couple days.
Okay. Anybody that works in the warehouse that stays with the city or town?
No, it's pretty...
It's literally just a shed for a proverbial, to put stuff.
It's like, you know how you can like rent out locker keys at like
yeah.
It's like that, but on a bigger scale. Like if someone wanted to move product and then sell it in the marketplace, they could rent out the warehouse here, and then move the product without having to buy a warehouse.
Huh. So there's no one around here that.
Doesn't appear to be anybody on deck, and the ship's gangplank has, like I said, has been pulled up.
Well, I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna fucking break and entering. Like, search the ship.
Do you
It's
want
not
to
cool.
sit around and watch the ship and wait?
Maybe have some people. No, I wouldn't myself.
Okay. Kirk and Bagger are with you. Do you want to have them wait?
Look around the area. I don't want to be too conspicuous.
I mean,
right?
it's not terribly like quiet. There are definitely people passing by, but it's not like super rambunctious either. It's just a small town. There does seem to be a lot of traffic from the galleon, kind of moving past you in the warehouse, moving towards the marketplace. It seems several loaders and dock hands are kind of moving stuff off of that galleon and bringing it out to the market.
I'll have the two, Kirk and Bagger. Actually, I have Bagger hang out here near the ship and send him to retrieve me at the galleon if anybody returns to the ship. Or see if he can request audience. Well, I don't want him to approach him alone. Just to retrieve me if they let down the gangplank, or if I have to. No, I'm not gonna do that. I like our port having a good name. It's just really conspicuous. But I want to speak with someone.
Okay.
So I'll somebody at the galleon. And
So-
I'll have Bagger if he notices anything to come and get me.
Yeah, you would know ships that typically just pass through Kasarian, we will operate in a similar fashion. The ship's been here for 3 days,
There's something wrong with the ship.
possibly.
It wouldn't just be here.
There might be something wrong with the ship.
That's my
Okay.
my insight tells something wrong with the ship. Otherwise, it would have left 3 days ago.
And you're not boarding it?
I mean, I'm not just gonna. So I respect the privacy of. I mean, there's
Sure,
no
sure.
reason for me to.
What other options do you
Then-
have besides standing there and twiddling your thumbs and asking yourself the same
Uh,
weird question?
Talking with the galleon nearby and see if they've noticed anybody. I just want to know if there's anybody that's been around this boat that has noticed anything going on.
Okay.
And
You had-
obviously, it's catch people's eyes because it's unusual in its make, right?
Yeah.
People
had-
would be.
You head over to the galleon. You would see that the captain is in kind of point and click mode, telling people move here, move there. Looks like they have a massive crane kind of centered on the center mast, which is pulling stuff up out of the hold and out onto the gangplank. As you approach, you can see the captain sees you, and he goes, "Ah, Lord Elfwood," and you recognize him. Roll an intelligence check to see if you can recall his name.
Is it Maddox?
No. It's someone you might recall. Yeah.
No.
No, you're like, the name's like on the tip of your brain. He looks to you and he says, Master Elford, hold on, I'll come to you." And he starts heading down the gangplank after kind of stopping everybody from moving a bit. And he says,
I'm gonna try to talk to him in a deceptively way to not let him know I don't know his name.
he kind of hail and offers his hand in typical Korachi kind of shake. He's
Eagerly shake his hand and say, "Long time no see, my friend."
Oh.
Shifty eyes.
Of course. How are things in Kasari Word is that there's trouble afoot.
Always matters to be dealt with.
We
One
were-
that has brought me here. Sorry to be short, but
Oh,
I'm really curious about this ship. It's been in my port for days, and I've been so distracted with matters. I've not seen or heard of anyone on this ship. And as I like to meet everybody, all of the travelers that come into my ports. I've not yet met this this individual and this crew. Have you seen anything unusual?
We came in after it. It's been there. We haven't seen a single soul aboard the ship since we've been here. We actually had a couple of people thinking about going over and checking it out. We have no idea what those things on the deck are, or what those if those sails are even effective or not. It's definitely a strange ship to be sure. But no, yeah, we haven't seen a single soul on the ship. But someone must have filed in with your people, right?
Anything on my ledgers? It's all vague and it seems very quickly
Well,
put together.
whenever a ship of Haddisheimer comes in from the Akaskari wildlands, we have to file bunches of paperwork. So I'm confused. Someone must have come in on it, right?
That's why I'm befuddled.
The bomb, get down!
Well,
I'm brief, but you can understand my vexation with my current situation.
sure.
I'm sorry I've been rude. Tell me about your travels. How are you doing? It's been so long.
Oh,
I'm
we're
still gonna portray myself as knowing him.
here with provisions from the Akaskari wildlands, and we're set to pick up some more, as per our alliance. And yeah, it seems the horde has been strong. We've pushed back a lot of the star spawn, and managed to hold our own. It would have been a really sick campaign to play in if you guys chose that, but this is what you picked.
Hey, no metagaming even from the
I
DM.
believe there's a blood hunter somewhere that would have been fighting those hordes.
Don't ignore that last bit in the beginning.
I actually really like this campaign out of
Shush,
character.
shush, shush. They all would have been badass. They're all good. Just a
Any
few.
new titles since I've seen you last?
No, not so much. Just doing my due diligence. One of the only merchant captains who's willing to go out that far and travel so close to the Storm's Eye, and well, yep.
How can I be of service to you while you're here?
Or
Anything I
Storm's
can do
Heart.
for you?
Storm's
Storm's Heart.
Yeah, that's what he says. Oh, nothing. We won't be staying too long. We have plans to head to Oznobble and frequent some of their fine tap rooms there. But for here, we got some things to drop off, and we've got some things to pick up. And that's that.
Have you any interest in maybe marble or let's see, what else did he tell me that they had? Shit. I gotta look through my notes, I'm sorry.
No worries.
The mayor.
Yep.
Just kinda my character would remember. I'm just really stupid.
Sure. It basically, the pleasantries pass back and forth. What you're basically getting out of this individual is they are dropping off a bunch of fine goods, which are considered like rich goods here,
Right.
but are not so necessary on the front lines in the Akaskari wildlands. So they're giving you stuff like jewelry, gems,
But they need
artifacts.
armaments and stuff
No,
for
they
the
don't.
war.
They don't need that shit. No, they need lumber, and they need grain, and they need that. Yeah, the wildlands wood is very green, so they need wood. That's not, jungle matter. They need and vegetation. They need like strong oak and stuff. And so the elves, who are very courteous to their trees, but at the same time are also understanding of their worth and necessity in the defense of the isles, do trade them out for certain things. And in this case, gemstones.
Well, if we'll be settling the city shortly, we're probably going to be clearing trees, right? Maybe.
Possibly. Yeah, but
Well-
that's basically the trade arrangement that you're gathering for this guy. But
Okay.
yeah, real quick, the Storm's Heart isn't his ship. It's an island. Yeah,
It's a location.
Yeah. Okay. If you have no other questions for him, I will point out that as you're kind of turning about, you would see that Bagger is rushing up to you, and he says, "There's someone on the ship there. Saw him." And if you kind of turn and look over that way, it's a few hundred feet away, but you can see that there is a single individual out on the deck of the ship, kind of looking in your direction.
Okay.
All right. We'll cut to you in a bit. Switch back to... do we got Leaf? Is he a real... Kevin?
Kevin, are you there?
I don't think he is.
Wait, no, Kevin. Are you in the app right now? Can I? Are you in it? You got it? So you see this button right here, in the middle. That's what you want to. That's the button right there, buddy. That should unmute you, okay?
Did it
If
work?
you can find that button and you can press that, that's what'll get rid of your little thingy. That's why you can't talk. No? It's not. Are you not? Do you know how to get to the voice channel?
He wants to push the button.
I can show you the whole thing from start to finish here.
Zach tech support.
Okay, well...
I tried.
No worries. Okay, we're
I
gonna go.
even got.
What kind of device do you have? Is it an
Mine's
Apple device or
it's
is it?
Yeah. Or using an
I'm
Apple.
wanting to know what Kevin has.
Oh my gosh, I
Maybe
don't
the
want-
buffer is
I'm
different.
sorry.
You mean a crapple device?
Switch to-
Oh!
he said he's got it. Thanks. I love you, Kevin. You're the best. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so who's next? Who wants a piece? I think Ulair was going to receive a visitor. Let's do that. You head back to the Monster Hunters Guild after your conversation with Cyril and start meditating on the weapon. Not too long into your meditation process, in walks a Twilight Knight.
Greetings.
Are
Can you hear me
you?
now?
Yeah.
Kevin!
Fuck! I was just gonna say, do you guys want to see a grown man cry?
But we wouldn't have heard.
Can you do,
No.
can you do that anyway?
No.
It happens.
You could have said that. We wouldn't have heard you.
Right? We just would have watched you cry.
Silent tears.
just watching you cry on screen.
Okay. Sorry, Tim. We'll get back to you in a second.
No,
Obviously,
please. I want to hear
I'm
Kevin.
Sorry, Tim.
Kevin, what do you got?
I don't even know. All I know is.
Leaf wakes up really late in the day,
Yeah.
and
Leaf
An artist,
would
they're
wake up
always late.
And he would think, "Oh shit!" Even though I was almost assassinated, I would be very. I want to do something to help out our town. So I would probably go and try to talk with Alcantara. But if she does not want to talk to me, then I would probably talk to maybe her captain or something to find out if I could entertain the troops to help morale or something.
Okay. From your abode, the barracks would be first, and then the keep. Do you want to talk to the captain first, and then go to the keep, or do you want to go to the keep first, then return back?
I will talk to the captain.
Okay. You arrive at the barracks. You can see that the captain of the Twilight Knights is speaking to the captain of the guard and the new captain of the guard, the reluctant captain of the guard, and they appear to be having a conversation that seems to be very stilted in the favor of the Twilight Knight captain, basically sounding like he's suggesting, and the other one is kind of accepting that his position is not as strong. Sounds like he's doing what the other one's saying to do, even though he's the one who's supposed to be giving out the orders.
Then what I would say is I would. Who is the new captain of our guard?
And the old man kind of looks to the Twilight Knight, waiting for him to reply. Twilight Knight,
also,
go ahead.
sorry, at some point I would have had the guard send me a list of potential candidates, if there are any, for,
Mhm.
Captain.
Okay.
I'm done. Back to Kevin.
Yep. And that's probably what they were discussing. And so the older elf looks to the Twilight Knight captain, kind of hoping he'll kind of yield into the conversation and take control. He does not. The old guy looks to you, Leaf, and he says, I am the current captain of the watch, Master Leaf.
Yes. Yeah. They. I'm assuming they would know each other just from being in town, even if you know.
You don't really know Zervos. You've probably seen him about, but he's never stood out. He's never really been noteworthy. You recall having seen him, but it's like, yeah, he's not noteworthy at all.
Then what I would do is I would like bow to him with the utmost of sincerity to make him feel like I really respect his position and everything. And then I would say, I know that you may be a reluctant captain, but I know you can be a great captain for this town, and I know you will do a great job. And I say, I will try to bolster the population's resolve and rally them behind the. I will rally them behind the Lady Alcantara. Be strong and have faith. Could I roll some type of like a thing to try to give him like see if he could really bolster his confidence?
You can give him inspiration, but you can see that the Twilight Captain kind of leans in and says, I don't know this one. And the captain kind of leans back to him and says, this is Leaf. He is a local celebrity, and he is someone who's gained the trust of Lady Alcantara, and also your War Queen. He goes, And he looks to you, the Twilight Knight captain, and says, apologies for my rudeness. I was in the middle of a dialogue with the captain here, but I am Captain Alendril, sent to help bolster the defense and ready it for movement of the troops from the capital.
And then what I would say, what Leaf would do is he would also bow equally as respectfully to this captain, and he would say, I would say, it is a pleasure to meet you, and I am sure you will provide the support for our great captain here in our time of trouble in this town. And if you need anything, please let me know. I am Leaf. I am here to serve. And then I would take my leave of those two and head up to see if I could get an audience with Lady Alcantara.
Okay. Shouldn't pose too much of an issue, I think. Matt?
I mean,
I don't expect to actually get a audience with you, but I'm trying anyways.
Would you be ready to receive, leave?
I suppose I would. Sure.
Okay.
You sound like so thrilled about it.
I mean, you need a captain of the watch.
I mean, yes, I do.
Okay.
But
I am not going to volunteer for that job.
No, I wouldn't
it's
either.
okay. I'm not going to volunteer you for that job either.
Good, perfect. We understand each other. So if I would get audience to Alcantara, then can I assume I would be led into where you would be sitting down or whatever, and
I mean, I do have general hours for just the people, so yeah, sure.
Okay, I would walk in and of course give a very respectful bow to you and say, my Lady Alcantara, I am here to offer my aid in any way necessary to defeat the enemies who are on our borders, and please let me know what I can do for you. I know one thing I can do is to bolster the population's confidence in you. I have a great song that I wrote a patron had paid me to do it, and it turned out to be wonderful. I can continue to sing that song, but anything else that I can do for you, please let me know.
Well, I don't believe that you need my permissions to sing your songs. I feel like if I did give that, it might be a bit of an overreach of my authority.
Well, of course, you respect the arts. What can I say? Everybody knows this.
Yes. What sort of services do you have in mind, though?
I know we were both almost assassinated, so if you want me to do some investigation, I could do that, or I could be available if you need help with anything.
Well, if you believe that you might be of service investigating who came after you, I suppose that could be of some import. It seems a bit strange that so many of us would be targeted at this time. Perhaps there is a connection between the two.
I've been thinking about it, and I cannot make a connection because why would anybody go after a famous artist? I'm not a political figure, but I do get along with you, so maybe that is it. Maybe because I am a friend of the leadership, they thought they should get rid of me. I do not know. That's what I've been wondering.
I sincerely doubt that that's it, but I suppose if you take time to investigate, you might find a different connection.
One of the guardsmen, the one who appears to have replaced the lieutenant as the leader of the ones following you, leans in and says, "Milady, if this one has also been targeted by an assassin, would you like one or more of us to go with him as his defenders?"
Yes, just one I think will be enough, and perhaps you can help him in his investigation.
Ordak, you. And then he whispers into the stone. Everybody who currently has one of the guards sees them do communications, and Ordak moves to Leaf.
How many do I have left?
You've given one to Leaf, you've given one to Alaire, you've given one to Halo, you've given two to Cyril. And you've given one to your father. 4 you have remaining.
Did you send one to the lighthouse?
Yeah, I was going to send one to the lighthouse.
You have 3
too,
remaining.
but I have 3 remaining.
Are these
You sent one to
Twilight
Alvin?
Knights?
Did we count Alvin?
Yeah.
Alvin doesn't have
Okay,
one.
yeah. Alvin
Don't have-
doesn't have one.
One currently.
So, are you gonna give Alvin one?
That's my next thought, is potentially sending one. Well,
Got
I
it.
suppose the ports would be covered by the lighthouse. I'll figure it out. Something for
Yeah, but Alvin is not likely to stay in the ports knowing who Alvin is.
That is
So
fair.
I was more like assigning one to Alvin, who's on the ship that has all the guns. You know, than necessarily just the lighthouse. That was my thought.
Yeah, the other thought is, of course, sending one to keep an eye on the monster hunters, but I'm not sure that's as necessary, so. I'm giving guards away like hotcakes, guys, if you can't
Are
tell.
these? Wait a minute. Matt, are these Twilight Knights?
Yeah, these are the Twilight Knights.
Oh, so they're really good then.
They're pretty competent, yeah.
What Leap would say is, I am very honored by your appointment of a guard, and I will use his services very wisely. I will investigate the assassination attempt on my life, and I will come to a conclusion and give you some good information. This I promise you. And then I would bow and try to take your hand and kiss it if you'll allow it. I don't know.
Not right now. Nope, not in the mood.
That's fine. He's just gonna try to do it in a polite way, not in like a flirtatious way, just kind of like in a polite way, you know.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
in a-
no.
in
Not
a way
right
a
now,
bard
not
would.
in the mood.
That's fine. So then I would excuse myself and then take off post haste with the guard. What's the guard's name?
Ordak.
Ordak. All right, you got it.
John's
guy
just
gotta
got a
keep him
list of
alive.
guards' names next to him, crossing them off.
Get out of my fucking room.
Jeez. Yes, I'm sure she's not happy. All right, so
Stop.
thank you very much.
No,
I'm so glad I.
I was telling Matt to get out of my fucking room.
Yeah.
Stop looking over my shoulder, you bastard.
I mean,
Fuck you.
first of all, it took a while to get the camera in that room, so no. Second of all, it's what I would do.
Fair. Okay, let's see. I've got Alvin looking for possibly going to speak to someone on a weird ship. Halo is not really doing much of anything, right?
Who is that someone?
Okay, and then Cyril, same, not really doing much of anything in the tower, right?
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be anything that he's being called to do. Yeah.
Hilaire, I haven't missed anything, right?
He's attuning
Okay, and Leaf, you
and
are
waiting on Fenfear to get back to him on what he
heading
found out.
off to investigate without much knowledge. Okay, so we.
Yes.
Wait, what about that note that I sent to Ulaire, though? We never resolved that.
Oh right, sorry. That was regarding.
That was regarding the dragon spawn.
We
That
were-
was
That's what the guard arrived with Naxi. Sorry. That's
Yeah.
That's what I was getting to. So the guard arrives, and Naxi walks over to your desk, sets something down on it, and just turns and walks out. And the guard remains. The guard looks at you. You are the one known as Ulaire.
Aye, how can I help you?
I am the one sent charged to defend you, and make sure that any communications that you have that would be directed towards Lady Alcantara, Cyril, things for a second. Oh yes, the guide, Halo, could be passed through me and will be delivered directly.
Oh no, this is gonna be really bad. Oh gosh, he can't help himself though. Oh, really then? Could you send a message to Halo for me?
I could.
Hey Halo, how you doing? Isn't this really neat?
Hey Halo, how are you doing? Isn't this really neat? On the other side, as you're entering into the temple, the Twilight Knight says, I do not believe this is relevant. I will not pass the message. The Twilight Knight says, only relevant information or requests are to be used. It's not a game.
Tell Ulaire. Message received.
No, the guy on that side didn't even tell you the message.
I know, but I'm assuming that the guy got to Ulaire and Ulaire was trying to send me an irrelevant message.
You wouldn't even know. No, the thing about
No.
the thing about these stones is you wouldn't even know. They talk into them, but you don't hear voices come out of them.
Right, but if there's an irrelevant message, it's coming from Ulaire.
Zach is saying he knows.
I know
Who would have
Ulaire well enough out of this party. If someone's sending in a relevant message, it's like, oh, the guy that Cyril sent to Ulaire just got there.
Fair
got
enough.
it. Like,
The other guy takes a second. He goes. Halo says message received.
Isn't that lovely? Oh, this is gonna be great. Convenient. And well, I guess I can't. I'll try to treat this with the respect it deserves.
Fair.
What's your name, sir?
Let me just check this list of NPC names I have. Kolarami.
Calamari?
Still.
Kolarami.
That is very close to calamari.
now I'm hungry, guys.
All right, calamari. Let me just write this note down.
Rami. Kolarami.
Right, yes. I have it written correctly. I'm going to probably mispronounce it all the time, though. Ulaire's, Treachery Twilight Knight. Alright. Alright, Kolarami. So, besides being told that,
He points to the note on the table,
gotcha.
which reads, Matt. Matthew.
Sorry, something else that was in the background. What was that?
What does the note say for Ulaire?
Oh, I mean, it basically just says Flaxius returned with a message that there is dragon spawn in the manor of town's name that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Iskari.
Yes, Iskari. And would he have anyone who is able to go and possibly take care of this issue? And it's basically just, like he can, telling him if he needs to, he can send a reply through the Twilight Knight that is there.
All right.
The knight says, as you seem to finish reading the paper and are about to ready to say something, he says, the lady in the conversation with the one who delivered the message had stated that the main central building of the town to the south was being held by the dragon spawn. The town's buildings seem to be intact, the ones that were of dwarven structure, and there does appear to be a suitable amount of space for people to live there. However, the main building, what might have been the keep of the town in past, is the one being held by these creatures.
Well, I think this might be, as long as she's willing to pay, this might be a job for one of our more specialized hunters. We're experienced hunters, but they kind of do their own thing, so we'll have to say who's in town right now.
Do you check your lists?
Yeah, I checked to see who's in town. Is my boy Sunwalker in town still?
Sunwalker just returned, actually, from the woods to the north this morning, and it does look like he has put in his request for more work.
Lovely. Alright, let her know, Lady Alcantara, if she's willing to pay, I'd recommend Asher Sunwalker and his crew.
He says that into the thing. The message is relayed to you, Matt.
So this actually brings up a technical question that I was going to ask you earlier, John.
Mm-hmm.
I myself personally do not have that much fundage, and I was trying to figure out necessarily how the fundage for the town worked out. I know that there's a certain amount that we have.
So, okay, real quick, the point of the levels being the way that they are is that the Monster Hunters Guild is the only thing that's really bringing in currency. However, most of the funding that it gets to be able to operate is the reason why the keep does not create a surplus. You're also paying other things to pay down those things. All currency that's being put influx towards the town is being spent out towards other things. So the assumption will always be, of course, role play it that way, but there's no need to discuss the monetary notions of it. It's simply a flavor thing. So, can you pay Ulair in the Monster Hunters? Yes, because he is going to receive coin, quote-unquote, currency for the next wealth roll. That wealth roll isn't earned from an actual source. It's a narrative, it's a mechanical simplification of the narrative description of how a town operates. So he will be paid. That will be included in his next wealth roll.
Okay, cool. So yeah, then they will be paid current going rate for killing dragon spawn. I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's fine.
And so actually I had a question about that as well, because if Cyril serves the town and Lady Alcantara, he doesn't have any money either. So
So you do have money that pays for your establishment. So everything that's kind of goes into your establishment that is not over extraneous costs, i.e. things you would buy out of the player's handbook or the Dungeon Master's Guide, those are all taken care of. So if you're like, I'm going to offer you tea, we don't want to worry about how the tea got into your larder.
I understand. So I guess what I'm really asking more is like, okay, so it's in the town's interest for Cyril to become more powerful as a wizard, and so, for example, I found the spell book and I want to copy those spells. I only have certain cash on hand to do that. Does the town provide money because it benefits the town?
No, because it's not benefiting the town, it's benefiting a player character. Benefiting the town wouldn't be, let's make him Super Saiyan or something. Benefiting the town would be, like, we need a new fence around the farm.
Okay, I see.
What, John? Just mainly because this got my brain thinking. Would an idea of costs that Andy might incur to benefit the town, like casting a ritual over the town that protects it in some way?
The best way for you guys to understand this is this. It's this simple, okay? If you can find a cost for it in a book, you need to pay out of pocket with coin that you earn.
Gotcha.
If it's a narrative thing like, oh, I'm going to offer you tea, or oh, I'm going to do repairs on my yacht, like the yacht that was given to you at no cost, or
I'm going to pay monster hunters to go take care of monster
I'm
issues.
going to play the player characters a coin amount that is for the town's wealth cost. Yeah, that I use to upkeep for the right. If it's not, think of this as a two-tiered game. It's the easiest way to kind of mentally picture it. You shouldn't be thinking of how can I exploit the town to buy magic items and spells. You should be thinking of the town's operating.
What about if you want to toss somebody a couple coins for services that you...
Totally fine.
Okay, so I can make that. I can pull that money out of my ass and still have my...
You can say you pulled that out of the petty cash. That's fine.
Okay.
Perfectly fine. So that means
awesome.
Because I'm not trying to... Like, I'm going to pay Lee for his services, but damn, I'm broke.
That's fine. As long
I'm
as
a broke-ass broke man who is merchant lord.
These are simple. These are simple exchanges. These are not anything that's going to be negative towards like the balance issues. But if you try to add a character, just from you understand me as a DM, if you're going to try to exploit the system, I will raise the town to the ground and make it a non-issue. It's that simple. Play the game for narrative, not for mechanical. That's not the game I want to play.
Similar to when I was at the tavern, no real cost of it. It's like I got served drinks and I paid them.
Yeah.
We never discussed cost.
Didn't matter because that was a narrative thing that I assumed could happen. But if you go into it like, I want to go buy a +1 magic item, I'm going to go, what coin have you earned adventuring? Because that's extra stuff.
Your adventure points.
Right, so the narrative purpose of giving me the best armor is... I'm kidding.
Now, see, here's another thing. If you said that Alcantara was, if you're wearing armor and you said it was gilded and looked jeweled and was ornate and was cool looking, I'd be fine with that. But if you said, I have this really cool armor, tell me how much it's worth because I want to flip it, then it becomes a problem.
Can we just have like a bunch of like 1,000 gold piece diamonds in it and we just pop it out? And... I'm kidding. I'm fucking with you.
You understand the line. Do you understand
Yes.
the line?
Yes, we get it.
Totally. Also, I do want that gilded armor. No, I'm not going to flip it. I just think it'll look cool on me.
Dope.
Your battle attire?
Yeah, my battle attire, that gives me an AC of 14, which is what my AC is right now.
Yeah, totally okay with that. But yeah.
But you'll look baller.
Ulair.
Exactly, and looking baller is better than high AC.
Absolutely, 100%. You are playing a bard now. That said, nothing else with Ulair. I'm going to go ahead and cut back to the ports then. Alvin, you see the individual across the way on the strange foreign ship looking at you.
By the way, I'm going to be passively investigating
He's wearing
whole fucking ship.
He's wearing a black robe. His hood's down. His hair is stark white, flowing in the wind. He looks like he has a youthful look to him, but he also looks like he's slightly emaciated. Like you can kind of see the shape of his skull under.
Is he Meridian?
That's not a thing that you're terribly aware of, but no, he's not.
Okay. Sorry.
It's fair. He just seems to be watching you.
Hail!
From hundreds of feet away. Do you start heading that way?
Oh, fuck. He's watching me that far away?
Yeah.
Damn, okay. I thought I was like next to the boat.
No. That's quite a distance away.
I'll wave at him. Okay. No, not really. No.
Okay.
I'm gonna pretend like I don't know he knows that I'm there.
All right.
and I'll start heading towards the boat.
Yep, Bagger goes with you. Kirk goes with you. You all head back that way. The captain of the ship says goodbye as you leave the galleon and head over that way. As you approach and start moving up the long wharf to that ship, you can see that the gangplank just drops of its own accord, and the individual in the black robe starts walking towards the gangplank and then down it onto the port, stopping and turning in your direction as you approach. Master Elfwood.
Hail! I'd offer him my hand.
He doesn't take it. He keeps his hands to himself. It seems rude. And you can kind of see Kirk and Bagger kind of looking at each other like...
Not all customs and traditions are... I gesture to them, it's okay. Where are you from?
I come from far away.
Obviously. Your ship is miraculous. It's beautiful.
I am under the impression that your town has had issue in the last few days.
I had quite a few issues. What issues do you speak of? Do I have more matters to be aware of? I say in a joking, disarming way.
According to what I have been able to suss out, the dwarfs from across the bridge are on their way. An army to the south of your island has made shore and is preparing to sneak through the jungles and forests of the Elf Enclave to assault the capital. And ships from our splinter nation have been causing you issue in the northern portion of the island.
You have a keen awareness.
I've also been watching the craft, and he kind of looks off a distance a ways. You can see that he's looking in the general direction of the Mastiff ship. I've also been noticing that your master has been having issue as well here.
What is your name?
Unimportant.
I'd like to speak.
I did
I'd
not
like to
sign it
know
on the
how
ledger.
to address you.
I did
That's
not
a weird name, unimportant.
I did not sign it on the ledger intentionally, so
Well, how should I address you?
however you like.
How long do you plan to be in the port?
I simply wish to give you a message. That's why we've stayed so long and lingered. But as you've been busy, I've had no need to interrupt. I tell you this. The problems on the Nadrasi Island. The problems that the people are having there, and have been having since their inception, are also problems that you will be seeing here and in other places. If it is in your nation's interest to ward off these things, side with Alteria.
Out of character.
He says, that is all. And he walks back towards the gangplank. You can relay this message to your lady, or the war queen, whatever. And he starts making his way back up the gangplank. Spindly looking man, strangely young and old at the same time.
So we're currently at war with Alteria, right?
Yep.
So he's an Alterian sympathizer, right?
He says that he's from Alteria to the east.
And he told me to side with who I'm at war with?
That's what he just said.
Right?
Grab him. Let's do an interrogation like last time.
Fuck. This dude, he's like in-game boss, man. This is gonna kill my character. I mean, but I'm not. Why am I just gonna let him fucking come here and, you know,
As he
threaten me in a way?
gets to the top of the gangplank, he turns and he looks back at you. Do we have permission to leave your port?
Yes. And don't return.
Good. When you sign off, I will allow you to sign off with the name I will grant you. Askaya
Okay.
Balcard. And he walks towards the back of the ship as the gangplank flips back up onto the deck.
Balcard?
I probably spelled that wrong. Balcard. Okay.
Not very long after, the ship seems to move of its own accord, and you start seeing individuals coming out of the houses and start maneuvering the ship and pulling to it. The one thing you notice is none of them are human. They all appear to be automatons.
Are they dwarven?
No. Much more elegant.
Okay. Well, cool. I'm glad I didn't fuck with that guy.
And the ship goes off. That said, done with you. Who's next? Don't everybody jump on board too fast.
I
Process-
think
lots of
since we didn't get too much of him before, we should go back to Kevin.
Yeah, more Kevin.
Yeah, why not, man? You can actually hear me.
Just a quick interjection is that, I mean, Eulair's basically waiting for Fenfear to return with whatever he finds out from Alvin on when they can chat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and also I am going to send one of the guards to Alvin. That way we all have guards, guys.
Fenfear comes back empty-handed, not having found Master Alford at all, and is frustrated.
One second, let me look at my notes on the dude's name. Kolarami. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Can I ask you to inquire after one of your fellows if Master Alvin is in the company of one of you?
After a fashion, Master Alford is not among them.
Do you get notifications of when someone gets attached to a new person?
No.
It shows up in your live feed.
Alright, well.
The only automatic notifications we get is if someone leaves the chat.
That's fun.
I guess if you're supposed to stay with me. Has it been an hour? Had it been an hour since I finally have the attunement done?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. I guess if you'll accompany me, I'm gonna take a walk down to the docks and just wait for him at his manor.
Okay. You'd probably arrive at about the same time as Alvin arrives back at his manor.
Oh, I would be around the ports, man. That's honestly, I'm going to be spending a lot of my day doing that. I'm going to be thinking about this
No, I get you.
Alcard guy.
But
I mean, I'll be returning late, is what I'm saying.
You'd have to go back to, like, put that name down to paper. I mean, and log him out. The ship is leaving. That is a part of your job. So, yeah, you'd see
I
him
would do that then.
at the house. Also your office.
Cool. Hail!
Unless you want to avoid Tim. Was that what you were trying to do?
I just
Sorry.
legit, like, I've not been in the port. Like you said, there was a ship in my port for like 4 days, and I've not really been.
I don't want to force you to roleplay with Tim if you don't want to.
I mean, I don't mind. I know where my character would be going. He would.
Got it.
He's been
Well,
neglecting.
he's definitely got to make sure that ledger's updated. And yeah. You've definitely spent the better part of 3 to 4 hours around here, kind of lingering. So.
Okay. And I would go and
There he
update the
is.
ledger.
Hail, Alvin.
What brings you?
Well, first, this is apparently my new attaché, Kolarami.
Hail.
Hi, cool. I mean,
One was just recently sent. It will arrive. He will arrive here shortly to serve for you.
oh, that's fine.
Apparently, there'll be like instant communication devices for us so that we can relay important messages quickly. But if you try to do bullshit, they won't send it by.
How did you know they didn't send your bullshit?
Because he
Because when I-
attempted to have me send his bullshit.
So, nothing but straight laces from here on out. Anyway, a gentleman approached me the other day about trying to track down a Zeraton. Have you ever heard of such the beast?
It's on. No. Well, let me see. I don't know. I'm gonna roll die. Just for shits and giggles. No. What is a Zeraton?
Oh, it's a quite the large sea turtle it is. But he'd like to meet it, I think, or who knows what. But he's promises an interesting reward if I can help him find it. And to do that, I'll need to acquire the use of a ship.
Well, I fear that we have matters at hand of state. Perhaps if you talk to some of the portsmen, these boats spend many time on the water. If you're likely to have any word of it, maybe speaking with men around the dock and port might help you.
When you say that, you kind of look over to your yacht, almost like suggestively, right? And when you do look over at your yacht, you notice that there's nobody on the ship.
Oh, my ship?
Yep, completely empty.
Why?
You don't know where your crew went.
Fuck. All right, well, I gotta go check my ship. What's going on?
They don't love you anymore.
Apparently not. Robots took them.
The only person you left back at the house is an individual named Ryan, who is also kind of like Kirk and Bagger, like just a guy.
Ryan, where's everybody at the ship?
They went to the lighthouse, boss.
Everyone?
Yeah, Flitz had an idea, and it sounded like he went to talk to Balthar because you weren't around, and they're gonna do something to the lighthouse, boss.
Do me a favor, tell Flitz to never leave the ship unmanned. Please?
I believe they left one person on board.
Is it Kevin? Tell me it's Kevin.
As you all kind of look up to the, you see Kevin go,
Oh, we're fine. The ship's back.
the ship's in good hands.
Good hands with Kevin. Alright. Should I meet them at the lighthouse? Is this pressing, or...?
No, they didn't tell...
I mean, he wouldn't just...
They didn't tell me what's going on, boss. They just told me to tell you that they're at the lighthouse. So,
Okay.
That's where they're at, boss.
Does Kevin have the bullhorn?
I don't know, boss. As you're standing there,
I've flipped him a silver.
yep, another Twilight Knight walks over, says, "Hail, you are Elvin Elfward, as we've already met before.
Populated.
I am
Yeah.
I am Sifford. I have been sent to guard you." And he looks over to Kolar Ami, nods his head.
I hope you're fast, Sifford. We're off to the lighthouse.
He's immediately just following you. There's no reply. Just, all right.
Do you hope he's fast? Because you won't suffer him being slow.
That's right.
Carry me, Zifford.
I don't know, what? Is that a reference? that I
Carry
get?
me to the light. No, it's not. It's just me being weird.
Oh, okay. If you head over to the lighthouse, you can see that there does appear to be a group of your crew up on the high balcony around the light region of the tower. It's a pretty massive structure, some 120 feet or so, and it looks like they are doing some sort of work on the that high balcony up at the high point of the tower of the lighthouse.
Well, I'll see myself up.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very boring walk, but the lighthouse keeper kind of looks to you and goes, "Oh, the lady said that you told your men to do this?
Is that a problem with you?
I haven't had a chance to report to Halo about it, but it should be fine. The lights are fine. Sure.
Any issues today?
What? No. Just not used to so many people being in here. Halo stops by once in a while to light the beacon, but really not much beyond that.
Have you been to town lately, or?
What? Yes, of course. I go shopping all the time.
Okay.
I bought these silk underwear the other day. They're wonderful. But I can't really enjoy them with your people futzing about.
We'll be out of your hair soon. Well, maybe not all of us.
Thank you. They're doing some sort of construction up there. And you head on.
Oh, I love this guy.
Flitz goes.
Join my crew.
Flitz says, "Hey, we are trying to build something nice for you. I had an idea. It might be beneficial, but I think that if we build a port up here, we can dock the ship while it flies. You know,
I love him.
might serve a bit better. It might be easier for us to maneuver up and out. The water might be a problem. The ship still serves navally, of course, but I think that it might be better to keep it a bit dry.
Sensible.
The air elementals on the sides of the ship now, they are willing to go into the water, but it's been hard to keep them pressed into the water for some time. So maybe give them a bit more substantial docking point.
I see nothing wrong with keeping him, please.
I didn't
This is
ask.
what they prefer.
I didn't ask for permission, but I assumed it would be okay. Maybe better to ask for forgiveness rather than permission.
I would prefer a little word ahead of time, but
You were hard to find, and I did not want to wait. A bunch of angry air elementals is a bad thing to have underneath
oh,
your
of
feet.
course, your choice was not a bad one, but in the future, please.
Of course. But yeah, they're building a port right out the side of that balcony.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe I'll have one of my guard boys hang out here instead of, because I mean, the ship. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I might put.
Who is he?
Oh, this gentleman. Seaford.
Sifford,
Sifford.
he says. And you kind of have this he kind of leans and speaks to a stone, and at the same time all the Twilight Knights go and that's all the Twilight Knights across the board, just all of them at once.
There are others. We have extra guards now that the lady was ambushed.
Interesting. Sifford nods.
Well, Sifford, would you mind just standing outside the tower for a little bit? I might have you stationed here just to keep our ship safe.
There was talk inside of the main chamber that one would be stationed here at the lighthouse to serve as a watcher on this hide point for any ships that might enter the port or come near it.
Oh.
So I believe the lady will be sending a individual like me to that location. And I do apologize. You may not understand our relationship very well. I do not serve at your pleasure. I serve at the pleasure of the lady of the town. She told me to stay with you, and that I will do.
Well, fair enough. I am advisor to the lady, but I, of course, would yield to her wishes. And she is most wise.
I will,
Already stating that we have defense for the structure.
I will grant you your privacy, but ultimately I will attempt to find you and follow you at all times. Unless you specifically tell me to wait, that is what I will be doing.
Man, Zippy's come up with those sick burns.
I mean, he's not really burning. I mean, he's just being legit. I don't know. Shit. I just thought it'd be good for him to watch the boat, but I forgot you already stationed somebody here to do that, so I'm cool with that. I mean, I don't mind having a guy hanging out with me. So I got Blitz with me. We could take him.
Yeah, maybe you can challenge him to some chess, and,
I'm not good at chess.
He's not going to play.
What if I order him to play chess?
Then he might.
Get him to learn chess.
Then he might.
Yeah, there you
then
go.
he might play chess. But anyways, man. Meanwhile,
I Actually, I would have Seaford send a message to the lady.
What's the message?
Tell her I wish to have counsel with her sometime this evening.
Not too long
See
after
if that would-
the strange laugh from the guards, the leader of the ones with you states that request.
Yeah, sure, fine, whatever.
All right.
She says that would be fine.
I would just see the men and then touch base with all of my crew, regaling, just making them all feel. All of them matter to the character. I may not know them, but Alvin sure as hell does.
One day you will.
One day.
Yep. Whenever somebody dies or does something cool, they get a name.
Alvin isn't dead yet. Gar isn't dead yet.
Fair.
Flitz die.
Yeah, but
my
haven't they
heart.
done cool things?
Yeah, die or does something cool. That was a prerequisite.
Okay.
Flitz was just cool from the get-go.
I'll spend some time here before I head to the Lady's Manor.
Sure. Anybody have anything that they want to do directly? Ulair, do you want to start trying to get Asher? Do you want to do anything there?
Around the fort. Maybe people.
Right, Asher. Shoot, I kind of forgot about that because I think it flitted away. Yes, I would. I would go. I might as well go pay him a house visit if he just got back.
Yeah, Asher's at the same dive right there on the port. This building right here, and yeah, you go and you meet with him again, just like you did before. He's not in the inn room this time. He's just sitting in the common room. He's by himself, and it looks like he's just kind of eating some food and drinking.
As I enter, I would turn to Kular Ami. Ugh. And would you mind waiting
fine.
just in? Thank you. And so I go up and raise a hand to get 2 drinks brought to the table, and sit down across from Asher. Hail, Asher.
Yeah.
How'd the hunting go?
Oh, not too bad. Displays are beasts. You know how they are.
Yeah, they can be quite the fun times
Really keen.
once you have the knack for it.
Really keen on getting back out into it, though. Is there any other contracts?
Yeah, actually, this one comes from the lady herself.
Ooh, high dollar.
You know it. So we got they've apparently sent out a little escapade down to Ishkarianwe, and there's some dragon spawn inside the manor down there that they need clearing out.
What kind of dragon spawn are we talking about? Drakes? Wyverns?
I didn't really get too much info, did I? One second, let me see if I can get a better description. And I ask if I kind of finger over
Yep.
what Colorami, can you ask Lady Alcantara for a description of the dragon spawn? She never actually sent it over in her letter.
It was never granted by the individual who gave the information. He says before sending a message. They
Who
actually
was the
had
individual that sent the message?
Flaxius from the temple, servant of Halo, or groundskeeper for the temple, not a servant.
Could you page Halo then, see if she can get in touch? See if he can get in touch with Flaxius and get a description.
You get a message from your guard requesting the information.
How many hours has it been?
A couple. I'd say
So-
we're into early afternoon.
Okay. I will tell Ulair that I'm happy to check in on Flaxius, but if he is still at rest, I will respond when I'm able to communicate with him.
Stishan delivers the message to Sifford, and Sifford says to you, Flaxius is currently unconscious or resting. Halo will gather that information at the earliest availability.
Thank you.
Asher says, "That's fine."
I figure worst case, we'll just have to charge him higher dollar for the unknown.
Sure, yeah. So long as it's not a God Slayer, we should be fine.
All right. So that just back off and we'll have to reassess. Maybe get a bigger hunt going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Might be near impossible. Of course, we've never seen a God Slayer out here on the Rended, but I mean, I guess it could happen.
Times are changing. When I'm giving my own personal guy right, like. So yeah, we'll see. Good hunting.
Good hunting. We'll head out that way.
I'll let her know you're on it.
All right.
And if you wouldn't mind, I might be willing to pay for a Memento to, I don't know, work around with.
Well, out of character, you would know the contract always requires them to
Okay,
bring.
that's part of it. Okay, cool.
You make your money by selling the things that they gather. They make their money by gathering
Nice.
the thing.
So, like, if I were to acquire a poisoner's kit, I would have access potentially to venomous beasts that get slain and their poison glands afterwards and try and tinker around with them.
Only ones that you specifically kill.
Cool, got it. Otherwise, it's part of this is guild profits that I'm selling off.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
if it's something you adventure and gain, yours.
Right.
If it's something
Okay.
that's like if Asher goes and kills, a green spawn thing that spits acid clouds or poison gas clouds, you're not going to be able to get that sack
Okay.
because minutia and boring.
Cool. Makes sense.
So let's see. Halo, do you go and speak to Flaxius?
Yeah, I at least want to check on him and see if he is completely unconscious or.
He's actually awake. He does appear to be out and working the fields. You actually get to him before you get to where he stays, and yeah, he's out.
Flaxius, if I may.
Yeah.
And I kind of like pull him away from the rest of the workers. My friend here, Station, is in communique with Ulair at the Monster Hunters Guild. They're
Okay.
asking for clarification on the and I repeat the giant word that he said. I think Uber,
Yeah, that
whatever
sounds-
it was. Like
That sounds right.
whatever it was. If you could give them a better description of what you mean by that, they're.
Like I said to the lady, I didn't see them. I was just told that they were called that by the mayor's person.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, he told me that they were Uber. It's not the word I
Not
said,
what?
but I can't remember what it was.
I don't know what he said
Because the only
either.
thing that's in my head now is Uber. He says, he said that he spoke to me in the giant tongue. He said that they were Uber, what you call the dragon spawn.
It's not really helpful for me, is it?
I'm sorry.
Those are, I meant that out of character, not in character.
Out of character, I was saying, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, no, I appreciate your honesty.
Hmm.
I suppose I'll have to relay that message as best as I can.
Did you want me to go back?
You continue as you were for the day. I would appreciate it if after you've finished with your duties here that either this evening or tomorrow you headed back to our people still at the settlement.
Will do.
Much appreciate your help.
Alright. Then he heads back to it.
And I'm just going to relay what he said to Station so he can tell Ulair, like, that's all you got. The mayor told him that in Giantkin. So whatever that meant to the mayor is whatever it means to you, more so than it means to me.
as you're, yeah, and that information's passed to Alair. Alair doesn't really have anything to give to Asher. As you're kind of moving away from that area of the temple grounds, you can see out into the port, and you can see this strange vessel kind of leaving out of the port at this time. Obviously, doing a bit of a Tarantino-esque thing here. The thing that strikes you as strange about it, there, is make a perception check.
Which one of us?
Sorry, this is for Zach.
14.
As it's kind of turning about and starting to move, you notice that, and you're pretty sure you're seeing it right, but you're not sure. It appears to have a number of lights kind of moving in front of it. Strange floating lights that are kind of like slowly...
Those the same floating lights that I saw before?
They do appear to be similar, but in daylight and visible at a closer range. But they seem to be leading this ship.
Which ship is this? Sorry.
The strange vessel that Dan was dealing with.
Got it. I am going to send a message to all of the guards. This is from Halo. Those lights are the same lights that Leaf and I saw.
They passed that around, but
To the lights on that strange ship that's leaving port now. If anyone is near the port, take a look. I don't recognize that ship, but those lights are the lights Leaf and I saw.
I didn't have a Seaford at this time.
Alvin, you did not have secret at this time.
You bastard.
So I want to know that. I do want to know that.
Yeah, but when you saw the ship leave,
You're the
there were-
asshole who keeps sending them away?
When you saw Brooke,
No, I'd never even met him.
Brooke
I'd never even met
at
him.
the same time. When the ship left for you, you did not see any lights.
He met me after I left the dock,
Right.
and I went
Back to the
to Ledger to say that. I didn't have Seaford until
Yep.
Suns.
Yeah,
Right.
and he doesn't bring it up because at that point, at that time, everyone just message received, and they deliver the message, so everyone knows Halo's kind of broken statement. The ship that's leaving the port right now has strange lights. If that changes your attitudes, but Leaf, you don't have one, so you don't get the message.
I don't know if I even know that story.
Yes, I do. I have what's his
Oh.
name?
That's
You
right.
should.
Or
No,
not.
do you not?
Well, wait,
Yeah.
hold on.
I thought we all debriefed on that.
Yeah.
I
together.
probably forgot that.
Yeah, we as a collective, when Leaf was still in the capital, that first game,
That's right.
when I came back, we all met as a group together, and that's where Alvin got like the ship parts. We all like, right? Am I remembering
And
correctly?
Leaf would have gotten his Twilight Knight before the ship would have left. So, Kevin, that message would matter to you, I guess.
So if you can see the port, you would recognize those lights as well. But really, I was hoping that Alvin would get the message and be able to
Shoot
put
it
together
down.
what that ship was. But he doesn't get the message, so
Sorry.
fuck me, I guess.
Sorry.
Okay, man.
That's my fault.
God.
That's my
Talk to you later.
That's my fault. Because that is 100% my fault. I'm sorry. I've been up since like 5 o'clock.
No worries.
My brain is mush. But yeah. So that said, let me make sure I've got us chronologically on the same beat. Okay. At current time, all the things that have happened for Dan have happened, and you are heading from the lighthouse back to your manor house. Correct?
I would be heading to see the lady.
Okay.
I also
That's right.
want to make communication, since I assume. Man, why is my fucking scroll like jank? It keeps scrolling me all the way to the bottom every time I try and click on something. It's driving me crazy. Lord Novinger Elendril. I'd want him to meet me with so I can discuss things with him and the lady at the same time.
He will be there.
Cool.
So that's where you're heading. Cool. Caught up. So then, Halo, after you see the lights, that was about 30 or so, 40 minutes ago. What would you do between that time and then?
Ulair, or not Ulair, I'm sorry. So I didn't hear Alvin respond, right?
Yeah, you don't know if Alvin has one.
Okay, then I am going to head to his manor because he should have a log of the ships that were entering and exiting the port. And I should be able to personally reference the time that I saw those lights leaving with the logs from ships leaving port, correct?
You will run into Alvin in the town square behind the barracks at about the time, because you are leaving from the grounds, moving
Yes.
all the way up and around with your tiny little wings, and basically you'll run into him at that point. In the 30 minutes between that ship leaving, or 30 or so minutes between that ship leaving and you getting there, you walked to your house, entered your piece of ledger, or haven't actually had a chance to do that because you were intercepted at the door. And who came to see you there?
There came to see me.
And then dipped away from you because you then went to the lighthouse and just left them behind.
I said,
Ulair.
I
Ulair.
told him to talk to people at the port if he wanted any information about this creature I have no fucking clue about.
Got it. That's right. And then it was a short message or short conversation. Then you went to the lighthouse. That was like literally like 30 or so minutes. And then you headed back. Actually, you'd meet him at the house. You'd see that Halo's been waiting there for a little while outside of the house. So you two will meet up. Okay, let's stop for a second and get everyone else on the same page. Alcantara, you've just been in the keep the whole time, right? Nothing's changed for you?
Nothing really. I
Okay.
can imagine I'm taking care of clerical business that,
And
needs
then
to be sorted at some point.
Belair, after your conversation about the Zaratan, you went to the guard, or you went back to Asher. You went to go meet with Asher. So during that time, you were basically recruiting him, and then you'd be heading back to the Monster Hunters barracks after that.
If there's like paperwork I had to make sure got started, then yes.
For that transaction.
Okay, yeah. So then I'd probably head back first before I do.
Okay, so then what'll happen beat-wise, it'll go Alvin and Halo outside of Manor, and then if they start heading towards the keep, they could potentially run into you there if you want, and we'll handle that. And then Cyril, you're still in house mode, right? Or is there anything else that you thought of that you want to do? Again, anything at all?
I mean, ultimately, Cyril's thinking about a plan to respond to what happened to Lady Alcantara, but that has to be talked about with her. So at some point, he'd want to go talk to her.
Okay, so basically, we'll assume that in the time that it's taken to get to this point, you've been drafting up some ideas and thinking about it, and keep on coming to the head of, I need to ask her what we want to do on this. Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. And then, Leaf, you, after speaking to Alcantara, what were you doing?
After speaking to Lady Alcantara, Leaf would want to go talk to Cyril. And
Okay.
then after that, maybe Kotas. And after that, maybe Elo. And
Okay.
then maybe Alvin eventually, possibly.
So let's handle Leaf and Cyril first, because that would have happened chronologically, kind of in the time everyone else was moving. So go ahead and let's do that. Cyril and Leaf. Leaf arrived again. Same office, same two guards. Now a third guard entering in. It seems like everybody's got these Twilight Knights now, and yeah.
Cool kids have them.
I would knock on the door and be like, Cyril, are you home?
Albrecht would answer, and would lead you to Cyril's study at the top of the tower.
And then I would say, Cyril, my friend. At first, I want you to meet Ordak, my Twilight Knight. This is Cyril. You may have already met him. I don't know.
They're like Pokemon, you gotta catch them all, guys.
Yeah.
Right. Cyril would nod. I don't know the name of my two knights, but I guess at some point I will.
That's okay. It takes effort to know the people's names you hang around with. I know that. You're a busy man, so don't worry yourself about that. Anyways, what I wanted to tell you was I'm going to be headed to the capital to try to investigate information about the people who tried to assassinate me. I'm going to check in with the City Watch and a few contacts I have there and just wanted to let you know. Maybe you want to go with me, or if you have anything you wanted to tell me, whatever, you know.
I think it's good that you're going to investigate that. Are you taking the teleportation circle?
Yes, I was planning on doing that. It makes the trip Elo and I did the other few days ago seem very trivial. You know, when you have a teleportation circle.
Certainly is more efficient. So while you're going, I'm going to ask you to deliver a note for me. And then so he takes a moment and takes out his quill and some parchment and he scribbles a note. And basically, so Tim, remind me what exactly you were looking for in the capital again?
I had asked you about ways to.
Was there a blanket?
Yeah, it was basically my baby blanket that had a some embroidery on it, and so it was a memento of I'm now assuming my mother, and so it was basically trying to figure out if there's a way magically to get a bead on where they may be.
When I was in the capital last, I must have dropped that off with the mages. Is that possible, John?
Yeah, that's fine. They would have told you outright if you dropped it off with them that the symbol just means, someone asking for forgiveness. It's an old kind of elvish, request.
Okay, so let's rewind that conversation, Kevin. So we're gonna skip that part then, but I'll wish you well and say that Cyril. I feel like I need to be here in the capital. There's too much going on, especially with the attempt on Lady Alcontra's life and all the disruption happening. But safe journeys.
Thank you. I understand, Cyril. I think you are working too hard. Kevin is the person who is in the crow's nest in Alvin's ship, but I know you meant Leaf, so I fill in blanks.
I definitely meant Leaf. Yeah,
No,
thank
you're
you.
Kevin.
So
I
real quick,
think you study and work so hard that your brain misfires sometimes, but no problem. You know,
It happens.
I'm not,
It
I don't-
happens with age as well.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, he says that he's a young prodigy.
You are so smart that I think you are too smart sometimes. You outthink your brain. That is all. You know, I would say anything bad about you.
So Andy, real quick, just a clarification's sake, the blanket was given to you to give to them for them to cast a spell to magically trace things, like they did with another object.
It was more than just reading the symbols on the blanket.
Correct.
Is that?
I already knew what the symbols in the blanket meant. This was like, this is a memento, a personal effect, to try and figure out to see where the person who gave it to me is located.
And would they able to do that in the capital, John?
They said it would take some time. They're not prepared for it at the time.
Okay,
That you
well, in
guys
that
come.
case, we're rewinding, Kevin, and I would give you that note. Yeah, asking to check in, and I would give you the names of the mages, and there was one really cool name. I bet
One
you
really
can
cool
find
name.
it.
And here I thought you were going to ask me to deliver notes to your mistress in the capital. You know, I can do that. I'm very discreet.
You gave
Would never
that.
tell
You gave that to them yesterday, right?
Has it only been a day?
No, it should have been
We went-
two now.
We had
Okay.
that battle in the afterwards.
Yeah.
It has to have been at least two.
By now they would have gotten around to it. So I'll go ahead and say that
So
at some point during the afternoon today,
address
as you're meandering about, like after Kevin or during Kevin or before Kevin, you would receive a sending message, and it would say, "It does appear that we have been able to scry and locate the owner, or the former owner of the blanket. They are in Kasari Yanwi, north by northeast of the keep." I hope that's translated.
Wait, did they dislocate you?
Yes.
Yeah, what the heck?
No.
Wait.
Oh.
That'd be where the grove is, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Ooh,
What?
interesting.
What?
Wait a minute. I know
Well,
what
I don't
that
know
is.
this yet.
What am I
So
saying?
no reaction.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna rewind for a third time.
I am sorry.
This is a lot of fun. It's like we're playing the alternate dimensions game.
Yeah.
Like, this is what would have happened if this thing didn't
Yeah,
happen.
but you know what's
Like
cool
an episode
though?
of Community where they have the dice.
Yeah, the dice.
Right.
You know what's
episode.
Or the
really-
butterfly
really fit-
episode of Scrubs.
I received a note from the kindly mage in the capital, and his name was Frederick the Untimely. So I think it's just perfect.
Yeah. He's the reason why this is happening.
Fucking Chronomancers.
Yeah. Okay, so safe travels, Leaf.
Thank you,
Kevin.
my friend.
I'm assuming that Leaf does not know that the teleportation circle has a password for it that only Alcantara has then, huh?
That is
Yeah.
true.
Leaf has only come through it one way, and he had no one barring him that time. So
That
Cyril
is
doesn't
true.
care about
Okay.
that.
Oh, I will have to. I will probably use my Twilight Knight buddy here to call you up and see if I can get said password. So
Oh, you
not
don't
too
know.
concerned.
You don't
Oh,
know
oh.
that there's a password from what
Well,
John
when it
just said.
doesn't work, maybe that is what I would do. I don't know. We will see.
well, anyways, I've set up a chronology, and I'm gonna try and stick to it because I think it works this time. Let me give it a go. So that happens, and then it goes to Alvin and Halo outside of Elfward Manor.
Do you have your Twilight Knight with you now, Alvin?
Does
Yes.
So as I see the two of you approach, you hear me shout, like from a few hundred meters away, "The hell you answer my message for?"
You can see him easily just kind of like shocked, surprised, like, what the hell? What message?
Stishan says, I apologize. He just met up with Alvin.
Oh no, like a smile on my face. I'm not mad at you.
Okay.
Old friend. So, that ship that would just left the port. I need to get to your logs.
You know of
Do
that
you
ship?
remember? No, but the lights that Leaf and I saw when we were traveling to the capital. The same lights were on that ship. It must have at least been the same design, if not the same exact ship, no?
Traveling to the capital. There's no water along the little river. That boat's been in the dock for 3 days, 4 days.
Then it must just be a ship of similar design, but where did that ship come from? What ship was it?
Come with me to speak with the lady. I don't want to talk about this here.
I kind of pick up on your vibe, just kind of nod, and we fly off.
Mount up, and then as you're going, Lair, you are moving up from the ports to the Monster Hunters Guild. You probably aren't paying attention. Alvin and Halo, you would see Lair kind of crossing the town square, heading back to his normal location.
I mean, we could drag him along if he wants to come. Everyone!
You don't have to. I'm just saying there's an opportunity there. You can avoid him entirely or just ignore that you see him.
I would greet him and, see if he had interest in coming with us.
What? Is she gonna want me there? She seems to only call for me when she needs me.
You
Don't
can
wanna
travel
bother her
with
too
me.
much.
There's
I
also,
think.
there's also 3 Twilight Knights.
Okay. Hi, guys.
I suppose if we're all traveling, we should send a message to the tower, no?
Well, I feel like I'd be remiss. One moment. I like, if you don't mind me popping into the guild real quick and see if Kaylin can start getting the paperwork in order. I'll gladly join you. It's more
So you have-
interesting than
You have
Ready.
matters at the manor too.
no, just it's more interesting than paperwork.
Fair enough.
Things are more interesting than paperwork.
You stop
I think-
at the guild hall. You drop off the contract details. It seems like Asher is being signed over to the contract in the Iskari Yanwi. And Halo, do you go in with Ulair and wait for him to come with you, or do you stay outside?
I suppose I would follow
Okay.
Ulair in.
If you go in,
I'm
you
just that kind of guy.
basically- You're pretty perceptive, and you overhear that Asher's son Walker is the one who will be sent out to deal with the monsters at Iskari Yanwi. that are playing the settlers surveying team there.
If I may intrude while they're like kind of talking. When does he plan to leave?
He typically likes to keep busy, so once he's done resting, him and his crew will get up and head out.
On the morrow?
Well, he just got it today. He's doing his drinking. He'll probably want to sleep one night under a roof. And then, yeah, probably first light tomorrow he'll head off.
Oh, wonderful. If you could send them past the temple to pick up Flaxius, I'd love for him to travel with a retinue instead of on his own. Seems safer.
Yeah, I look around. Do I...
The one that's not Fenrir. Here.
Kalen?
Yeah, he says, "I got it, boss. Don't worry about it."
Much appreciated, Kalen.
Kalen's a girl, and Kalen's front desk.
That's right. She says, "I got it, boss. Don't worry about it."
All right, thanks, Kalen. I can always rely on you.
She nods. Okay.
Alright.
And then after the contract's dealt with, you continue heading out.
I would do idle chit chat with Ulair to kind of figure out what he's been up to. You know, would you tell me about the contracts and such?
Yeah, I mean, nothing. There's some dragon spawn. They didn't really give much information about what kind, but Asher's got a solid head on his shoulders, and he's pretty talented, so him and his crew will be able to take care of it most likely, no matter what.
Where are they known? Where are they sighted?
Wait, hold on. Sorry, your strange Freudian slip. Soldiers' shoulders is probably because when you kind of look up from talking, you can see that Novinger Elendril is kind of moving out of the guard barracks, heading in the same direction that you are. You see one of them speak into the stone. He kind of stops and looks over his shoulder, and you kind of are walking as you're talking. Dan, continue, and you would see that you're catching up with the captain of the Twilight Knights.
Okay. Where are these attacks coming from?
It seems like they're just cooped up in the manor to the town to the south, where.
When you say that, you see you don't usually see you see a gleam of like something just clicked, right?
Well,
and he looks somewhat worried over his face.
Real quick, he's
slightly.
south of the island, not south of the town.
But still, it corroborates what old boy had told me.
Sure, if you think that.
Yeah.
So you're saying I notice like a gleam in your eye?
Probably.
Why? What does that mean to you?
We'll talk about this when we get to the keep.
Hail. Seems like an entire
the whole town is here.
it's like a whole posse is going to speak to the lady.
Please let Cyril be coming too.
Oh, as we're traveling, I'm gonna pull Station aside and could you do me a favor, my friend? I need you to send a message to the one of the guards with Cyril. If you could get in touch with him, tell him we're springing a town meeting on the lady, and I'm sure he'd like to be involved.
You see him gesture over in the direction of the Tower of Lore, and you can see that Leaf is exiting and kind of moving into the open space there, and he says, "I'm pretty sure they know."
Fantastic. You see me just like waving, trying to get Cyril's attention.
And Leaf, you're not too far ahead of him. Are you heading to the keep as well? I can't remember if that. Or are you the only Quill
Way
kid?
to the capital, right?
Oh,
He was going to go to the portal
go to the
and
barracks.
then not be able to use the
He
portal.
was, okay, that's right. He was going to message and ask for the password.
Yes, but before I did that, I was going to go see Ulair, Elo, and Alvin. So
You
if I
run
see
into
them
them.
approaching, I would say, I was just thinking about you guys.
And not very long after your kind of interception there, Cyril comes downstairs as if he thinks he's not going to see you and he's going to bypass you. But then he sees that everyone he knows and all of their Twilight Knights are just gathered right outside the Tower of Lore.
Hey, here we are.
Yeah,
We're so inconspicuous.
I told you I was going to get this timeline back on track. Just shove you all in a ball and push you at Matt.
Leaf, I haven't seen you since the capital, my friend. All is well, yes?
Maybe I never should have split up with you. I had an assassination attempt on my life, but I outsmarted them. it's hard to put a good
You
man
get
down.
an assassination attempt. The lady gets an assassination attempt. Does nobody care about the temple? Unbelievable.
Apparently not. Kids these days, they don't care about religion. It's all about themselves. Me. That's all it is.
Real talk, out of character. If you want me to try and kill you, I can.
You get a lot of experience if you survive it. Like
Apparently.
legit.
That's true.
Just the kind of character Halo is.
So as a group, you head past the arches and towards the keep. You're made aware that they're coming well before they get there, Lady Alcantara, and they arrive in your courtroom.
Hooray, the coup is here.
Real
Coup.
quick,
Preparing for this.
Cyril doesn't say anything about his sending that he got.
So I mean, I had
If you not
planned.
know, that's fine.
No. I had planned that if we're walking together, I would sort of hold you back for a second and say, I learned something about the blanket. Perhaps we can talk about it after this meeting.
No. What?
You wish to know now?
Yeah. I mean, tell me.
Well, I will tell you that I learned that the scrying on the blanket indicated that the former owner is in Kasari Yanwi, north by northeast of the keep.
And I rack my brain, and where do I think that would potentially be located?
Nobody in this party has been north by northeast of the keep. The only thing you know is that a very sacred and off-limits grove of House Gale Shay resides behind the keep.
Well, I am I hearing this conversation? Because I would know about that.
It didn't sound like they were whispering.
Yeah. So if I hear you say that, I'd be like, wait, isn't that? No, and I'm gonna just kind of float away. No.
Stop!
No.
I'm like chasing after Halo as Halo's heading to the keep. Like, what's going on? I'm like, what?
And the scene
Oh,
cuts
Will.
with you all stopping quietly in the courtroom and Lady Alcantara approaching you however she wants, sitting in her chair, coming out of the side room, what have you.
Oh, you expect me to not be sitting in the chair
You're in
like
the
the Imperial
chair.
Emperor?
Wearing a house dress.
I'm sitting there expecting them to come in like Luke Skywalker being accompanied by Darth Vader.
Your 3 remaining Twilight Knights standing not too far off, just off the dais.
I'm planning on having them all dressed in red and, kidding
yeah.
about all that.
Or put them in white cloaks and we can go full
Wait, are we the bad guys?
Red Landing or King's Landing. I don't remember. Game of
No,
Thrones.
I was making fun of myself,
Fair.
not you.
Fair.
Anyway, well, this seems like quite a interesting and potentially impromptu gathering.
We have
Yeah.
quite a lot to discuss, my lady. I recommend we dismiss some of the room. And he looks around and there's like 15 fucking Twilight guards everywhere. It's like plus your two like the
No,
two
There's
people I'm
only
sure
a
there.
total
It's
of
like,
10 of them.
Novinger looks to the lot of them and then slams his foot on the ground. They all kind of stand at attention, turn, and leave the place. Just like he did it the first time you met him.
Sorry, I missed that. You cut off for a second. What was that last thing?
Novinger, just remember the first time you met with him and he sent them all away with, like, just by stomping his foot? He does that again.
Right.
They're all gone.
Cool. Well, now that we're alone,
I have made a mistake these past few days,
What?
and
Hold on, wait, sorry. When you say you're alone, is the captain remaining?
yeah, I want him here.
Okay.
I would like to have him here.
Cool.
If anybody objects, I mean, you can, but
Okay, he's good.
I trust him. I have no reason not to. Conspiracy! Anyway, at my neglect these past few days, I've been distracted from the ports. Apparently, we have had an Alterian ship in our midst for some time.
Wait, was that an Alterian ship that I saw?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah, it was.
Alterian ships are the ones with the big bright lights.
Yeah, but
We
it
should
said
get you some big bright lights. I feel like they'd be cool on your flying ship.
but really conspicuous. You really, you know.
If you turn them off.
Can they turn them off though?
Did you see them when they were leaving the port?
No, I was too busy distracted by the automatons.
Regardless, my lady, that confirms that what Leaf and I saw was an Alterian ship near the capital.
Could it have been the same ship? I don't think that one's left the port. I don't have very many eyes on it though. That would have. Everyone that I've spoke with said that it's not moved for quite some time.
It could potentially have been another ship from the same sort of fleet,
Well,
I'd imagine.
I feared that ship was from a continent far east of here, old Alteria. It seems that they're traveling to rendezvous with the new establishment. That's what the gentleman had told me. Does anyone know of or heard of the name Asaka Balcard? Or not Asaka, Askia Balcard.
Any of us know that, John?
Last name Balcard should probably ring bells.
Duran, I was waiting. That one, right?
Nayland?
Duran Balcard does not ring bells to you, actually. The name Nayland Balcard does. Yeah, shortly after the War of Sword and Serpent, and pretty much in lineage with most of Old Alteria's records, before the time of Alteria, during the time of the old nation of Osiria, Osiria was conquered by a single individual named Nayland Balcard, created by some dark magicians. It is a name associated with sorcery. And powerful sorcery at that.
Would I know this?
No.
Okay.
Do you have history trained?
No.
Would Cyril
Absolutely
know
not.
this? Because he
Do you-
is a...
Do you have, if you have history
mage?
trained, if you have history trained,
I do.
you know it.
I
I
have
know.
history train.
I might.
So again, I asked, does anyone
Yeah,
know
I
of
do.
this name?
Cyril gives a little lecture. Because that's what he
Okay.
likes to do.
I
So
could
they're-
sing a song about them.
That
Nayland,
won't be
that is.
necessary.
Many people learn very well from a song. So, if you want, let me know.
Well, this gentleman, he in no friendly manner introduced himself. Well, didn't introduce himself actually until he departed. The whole confrontation was, and I would call it a confrontation, was rather queer. He spoke of an ambush to the south that I'm not aware of, but I assure you, I will certainly look into it with Sigurd, my ship. Furthermore, he spoke of imminent attacks, or rather the proliferation of these creatures we've been having as of late. One's the Uler, I think might be related to what he spoke of as well. So, if he speaks truth here, why wouldn't he, be honest with other things? Furthermore, actually, come to think of it, and that might have been his ship, because he seemed to know everything that was going on in the area. There's no way he could possibly understand the attacks to the north, the ambush to the south, unless he had been traveling all across the land.
Leaf, you're pretty perceptive, and if you recall my description of the lights, there was no ship with the lights. There was just the lights.
That is right. I would explain this to Alvin and say, "Alo, isn't that right? We know.
You
We did not
got the-
see a ship."
You got a better look than I did. Trust your eyes.
Thank you. But that makes it even more confusing that we don't know. Why was no ship? Did the ship and lights separate? I don't know. I mean, it seems that way.
Well, there must be other players that he can communicate with to know everything that has happened in the past few days. He knew of the dwarves. He knew of the imminent attack across the Nadrasi Bridge. My instincts told me to detain him, but there was no way. That would have been sacrificing myself for nothing. He also urged myself to side with Alteria, which is out of the question.
Side with Alteria against
I have no
the
clue.
Enclave?
I have no clue. I assume. He didn't say.
Are the Alterians aligned with the dwarves?
Was my question as well, Halo.
They are.
I see.
I assure you my loyalties lie with this town.
Yes, but I suppose it's up to the lady to decide where the town's loyalties lies. Is it not? And I look to her.
Well, I sincerely doubt that right now would be the greatest time to switch our allegiance.
Novinger says, yeah.
Is there any connection between the automatons that Alvin described and the Helmed Horror?
Did Alvin describe them?
Yeah, I would have described
would
them as
say
being
that-
slender.
No, they would not be.
They're elegant. They looked elegant.
Not even
They're
close.
nothing like the Helmed Horror.
Absolutely
Well,
not.
that does not mean that they are not related. It could be a similar sort of magic animating them both, although they might have entirely purposes.
Yes. The question is what to do.
They seem to have an interest in reducing the amount of creatures in the land, but I don't know to what end. That was the only common thread that he threw to me, the only commonality, the only equal goal that he wanted to give me was to reduce the amount of these monsters in the land. So they do have some interest in that. To what end I don't know, but he spoke of a commonality in that this will be a nuisance to everyone.
Novinger interjects. Milady, this one spoke of a possible ambush or incursion on the southern portion of the island. Do I have your permission to report this finding to the War Queen?
Of course.
Wait. There's a War Queen?
Yes.
Yes.
The fuck? Do I run the town brothel or the town temple? Why does no one tell me anything?
Halo's very extra.
Unfortunately, things have been quite busy the past few days, and that's
I saw you 4 hours ago!
and that might have slipped my mind.
Are you turning me into Dan?
Just shaking his
However,
head.
If you would like to run the town brothel, you might be able to gather more information.
Novinger says
I
to
bet I could make it self-sufficient.
Novinger says to Halo, kind of directly, kind of quickly, kind of muting the room out. He says, "Shale Aristotle is the War Queen."
Okay, then. Thank you.
You've been told.
My lady. Maybe what we need to do is gather allies, because if we are looking at fighting dwarves on Adamant Island and fighting old Alteria, or the Alterian Empire, we might want to gather our allies. Maybe like the
fuckers.
Yeah, maybe we could look at the Asgari Wildlands,
The fuckers.
Coleric's Ord. He has
For
come to our.
United Coastal Kingdom.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
we could look at
Right.
Maybe we could all just look at the fuck. Who knows?
What's the fuck?
The Free United Kingdoms. That's what the people on the street call it.
I believe that is partially under the War Queen's jurisdiction and not so much mine. I feel like you may think that my powers are greater than they actually are.
I think your powers are equal to what you can grasp, and I think you can grasp more than you think. Now I don't know what my accent sounds like.
You're not.
Milady, if you would be so kind, I need to deliver a message to one of my attendants to have the message delivered through the portal post haste.
Of course.
Novinger, I also, would you mind telling us your thoughts on this? You're rather insightful.
One moment. Says something into his stone, and then he kind of sets it back into his pocket. Regarding the current situation, or regarding
Current situation?
As a whole, or one particular point of order?
Did he just whisper into the stone, execute Order 66?
He did, and he said, execute Order 66.
The other 10 Twilight Knights come in, swords drawn. Shit.
Yeah.
It's okay, guys. You can take them.
Yeah. He says,
Just gonna run.
regarding the situation as a whole, I don't know if it was wise to let the Alterian ship leave. However, based on your description of it, it doesn't sound like it is a true Alterian ship. The constructs are not something that I think Alterians would sully themselves in using, at least the Alterians I'm aware of. Regarding the situation in Iskari Yanwi, if you think it's related to the matters at hand, it might be wise to act upon it with competent soldiery rather than simple monster hunters. I do not doubt the abilities of the monster hunters, but if it is a intelligent effort by someone sentient or cognizant of their actions, sending in a monster hunter might be sending a monster hunter to their death. Regarding the matters to the north, we have dealt with them according to the information I have retrieved regarding your ship conflict. So I don't think there's much more to matter there. However, as we are not a nation with a very strong naval force, it's up to the War Queen to build that navy, and hopefully that effort will be handled in turn. Although the number of skyships available to the nation they're in does dwarf most other nations in the Dragon Isles, it won't serve as much of a benefit against the mages of the Alterians or the armaments of the dwarves. A much easier target up in the sky rather than out on the sea. That said, holding the town is our current most important effort and affair, and that is what I'm engaged in. Is that satisfactory?
Should we, in your opinion, pursue this ambush to the south?
I have reported it to the War Queen. I'm hoping for information back regarding the efforts. If her desire is to handle the matter, she will more than likely do it herself. We are about equidistant from the area. We're a little farther away. If it is truly the exact south coast from here, Aznable might have some issues, but their town defense is pretty strong.
Elaire sort of like, I don't know, sheepishly maybe, like with some food still in his mouth. So, when are we supposed to be going to secure the Nadrolsi Isle and all this? That we're supposed to go out and recover things for them. How's that happening?
It's been,
if you don't mind me asking.
It's been a day and a half, 2 days since we last received reports from the Twilight Knights that originally came to Khazari Yanwi and traveled across the ridge to take the isle and hold it. Since we have not heard any reports back, it is our presumption that something might have happened to them. So I am currently waiting for a move on the War Queen's part, and hopefully it will be actionable, and more troops will be sent out to cross the bridge and deal with that matter. My presumption is that our initial forces were lost, the source of which I can only determine as Nadrasi natives, but you state that they would not have done that because of your statement of peace.
They didn't even seem to say that the knights had arrived, which makes me actually wonder if some of these helmed horrors that I encountered, perhaps there were more that were encountered by the Twilight Knights.
It's concerning, to say the least. That said, I am hopeful to get more forces to deal with the matter.
Right.
Well, I know Flitz would be eager to scout the south.
It is a powerful resource I've given you, and I hope you utilize it.
It is
Might be
also
best.
one of our only town's defenses.
This is also true.
So taking it too far is dangerous.
Is there any kind of portal relay system thing that might be able to be used to go from here to the capital and from the capital further south?
From here to the capital, yes. From the capital further south, no. Sorry, one moment. Okay. What's back to you? As Noble has fallen,
Say it ain't so.
What?
My family lives in Asnoble.
and that's where we'll end for the
No.
night.
Asnoble!
Cool.
Thanks for
Damn it.
watching. We'll pick up in a couple of weeks because we've got some vacations going through. We'll probably be playing other games in the meantime. Maybe stream, maybe not. Just keep an eye out for notifications if you're watching. Thanks for watching, and we're headed to bed. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for watching.